All right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safe with Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. It's Matt Static, AM Radio. It's the Cool Bed Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macramalla intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
.04 on the Nielson Show. Trev, can you turn me up ever so slightly? What's going on, everybody? It's Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with you. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio this morning. Thank you very much for being here. The Edmonton Oilers blow one last night, but that's not the big story. The big story last night, LeBron James playing with his son, Bronny.
I think April Wine said it best. Ooh, what a night.
Oh, well, that's a great song.
Yeah.
They should have done that. They should have played that when they came on the court together in LA.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a moment, eh?
That would have really hit.
You'd be crying more.
Mm-hmm. Tear-filled night in the Nielsen household. After watching that, Marshall was sleeping. I went in and I laid next to him. That was it.
Big spoon,
I laid
spoon.
to him next day. Yeah. It's the day 12 years from now when you're sick and Marshall slides into the chair next to me. You know, oh, God, boys. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine? Not to mention that the Lakers are unbeaten all time when Bronny plays.
Well, Bronny James MVP, JCD 780 in the Nasty Chat. I mean,
what are you going to do?
Text that in. Text the day, probably. Off day in W. Simple as.
Anthony Davis was outstanding last night. Like, Anthony Davis looked like a league MVP last night.
Well, I heard you talking to the Bear Boys. Speaking of daddies, right?
I mean, Anthony Davis
that's your daddy.
Made Rudy Gobert his daddy. Like, it's just... It was good. It was a cool moment last night. Easy, flip away. Flip away for a moment.
There's lots of stuff going on.
A bit of a disaster in the third period there for the Mighty Oil. And
2-goal lead, most dangerous one in all of hockey.
That's the last one you really want to hold on to. Anyway, the Oilers, let's just say it. They blow it last night. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999.
Oh. Point milked.
1 point milked. Just one little nipple.
Against a good team.
Just a little squirt of milk. Just enough to feed one kitten in the litter. All the other kittens die.
You're all runts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one works. This is hilarious. Gordo texts in this morning and says, first time in weeks, tune in worked as it should. Maybe the issues are resolved. Followed up by Kurt on a grader that says, just an FYI, no go on tune in today.
Back to back, eh?
Oh, it's hilarious, isn't it? I mean, it loaded very easily for me today.
Is Nathan joining us this morning as well? Will he be in the...
No, I believe... Well, no, maybe it's... Man, it was working really smooth earlier this morning. All right, well, we'll see how that plays out. Nathan? Don't worry, Maddie and I have started looking at other options. Yesterday, we're just like, can't have this. Like, it's unacceptable. So we're looking at some other options right now. But I was listening to it perfectly fine on the way in this morning. Doesn't make any sense. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can get in. Macramalla intros already flying in this morning. We will try to sort through as many of those as we possibly can. If you're watching over on YouTube today, you can hit us up in the nasty chat. Hammer the thumbs up for us as well. We would certainly appreciate that. We do have a jam-packed show for you today. Lots of talk here in the 6 o'clock hour, obviously, about the Oilers game. We'll have both Wyshynski and Craig Button to break down, what do they call it, the frozen frenzy.
Yeah, flu game for Wyshynski. Hey, he's battling it.
Is he not
He
feeling
was eating saltines and ginger ale. I'd like to know which brand of
I
ginger
wonder if
ale
he's
was
going to text us
consumed.
and say he can't make it.
Well, he was watching the whole frenzy, though.
Well, then,
Not that,
probably connect then. Oh, boy. Well, big flu game.
Hopefully that hair is looking...
Hopefully it wasn't just late night food poisoning. Pizza that you shouldn't have ordered when you're up really late. Here's the show for you today. We'll get to your morning announcements. We'll get to that's good. We'll also get to the morning after show today, which will be followed immediately by the Fan Zone. And in the Fan Zone today for fansfirst.ca, by fans, for fans, no fees. Get your tickets today. We will ask you, Oilers fans, who do the Oilers fans hate the most?
Oh, the person that started the wave, obviously.
Let's not even get started on the wave.
Oh.
Let's be look.
2-1.
2-1 lead.
2-1.
And you're doing the wave as opposed
Yay.
to paying attention to the hockey game. Like, I can't imagine a world where you're sitting there watching a 2-1 hockey game, but you're actually not sitting there watching the game. You're watching the line coming. You're like, is it here yet? Like a dog going to the vet? Like, what's going on? Is the wave? Is it my turn? Do I go now? Watch the bloody game. Sorry.
Somebody online accused me of bringing up the wave.
Of course.
For the reason that they love. Not the wave itself at the arena. Me bringing up the wave, giving attention to said wave.
That would be the reason, I guess. That would be the reason this morning. All right, so we'll get to that. 6 o'clock hour, like I said, absolutely jam-packed. Whole show's just a busy boy today. Craig Button, just after 7 o'clock. We had to flip Button yesterday because Noodles was flying today. So Craig Button will join us today just after 7 o'clock. He'll have a few things to say about blowing a 2-goal lead.
I'm sure he'll be.
I think so. The random NFL wheel last week gave us the Commanders, gave us the Bengals, screwed us with the Jets.
Well, they didn't know Russell Wilson was...
That's the thing. The wheel on Wednesday had no knowledge.
If it did.
That Russ was going to cook. What does he call himself? Mr. Mysterious or Mr. Dangerous.
He takes a bite of his sub.
Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Free advice for local slumlord David Bunting at 7:30. Just before that, we'll have your keyword for the EST Flyaway to Los Angeles. That'll be happening. Eric Macramalla at 7:45 today. 3 questions too many. Kind of easy trivia. That hurts for the heavy hitters of injury law.
Should almost give that segment a bit of a half an hour, hey, for today, following last night.
Last night's game.
A few points to probably get to.
A couple of things to discuss, I guess. Greg Wyshynski, just after 8:30 today. 16 games in the National Hockey League last night. We'll break down the big story from every single one of them. The weekly rankings of power with Lieutenant Eric. Power.
Power rank.
At 8:45
The biggest
today.
things from the Frozen Friends.
Oh, there's so much going on. The wrap for William Huff today. I believe Bruce is going to be in tomorrow on the Hangout. Today, if you would like to join us for lunch, Tommy and I believe YouTube Trev's going to pop by for a visit. We will be at the Kingsway Boston Pizza today. I'll be there at 11 for the lock shop, but we will be there up until 1 doing the oil stream today. So that should be a lot of fun. 780-218-9999 is where you can chime in this morning. I know they didn't win last night, but that doesn't mean you can be angry with us. So smash the thumbs up, and we'll get to that as we work our way through the show this morning. Tons of Macramalla intros. I'm going to try to track all of these down. I like to save them from the text line and then move them over into a notepad document.
Very smart. Yeah.
But it's there's a lot of them, so I will try to I'll try to do best I can on that one. All right, let's get into your morning announcements today. For 100.3 The Bear, Edmonton's best rock with Yukon and McCord every single morning, and of course, Jess Jackson on the way home. Speaking of 100.3 The Bear, how about a visit yesterday from one Yukon Jack in the house?
Pleasant surprise. I received a text while I'm in the EST hangout alongside Dean Belanger and Matthew Iwanek saying, hey, you around? And I'm hanging out, I said. And then, walk out of that room and old Uke's holding court.
I was on a CFL conference call. I was sitting in Wanik's office with the door closed.
It's nice in there, hey?
Well,
You get the couch.
it's just the couch is kind of chill there. Pretend you're a Wanik for an hour. Anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm here. I heard Hernan say, "You just made my day." And then I played a little game of mystery player with myself. I was like,
I like that.
Who's out there right now? And then I heard you, Gager, talking to him, and I recognized the voice, but I didn't I was just like, who is that? Then I opened up the door and I was like, oh, Yukon Jack. Hadn't seen Yuke in a while.
Yeah.
He's slimming down a bit.
He's trim, baby.
He's slimming down a bit.
Ahead of his trip to Jamaica, Mon.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah, that's good. That's one of those trips where they send you on the trip. You don't have a job when you get back. We'll see how that one works out for him. Fingers crossed.
Missing the howler over the weekend. He will be.
He's missing the howler to go to Jamaica
apparently
on a company trip.
They're all.
Oh, how the howler is fallen. I mean, that used to be like you can't take that day off. No
Whale
matter
the
what.
Wolf this weekend, River Cree.
What? Oh, yeah, I guess at the howler. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. I'm just like, what? Frozen frenzy last night around the National Hockey League. Here we go. Washington beat Philly 4-1. The Rangers beat the Habs 7-2. Jacob Trouba almost killed a guy. The others had a 2-0 lead, but they blew it. Hurricanes win 3-2 in overtime. Minnesota Wild in full control against the Florida Panthers 5-1. Tampa Bay Lightning hanging 8 on the New Jersey Devils, winning 8-5 in that one. Buffalo Sabres at home 4-2 over the Dallas Stars. That was a tough loss for the parlay. Columbus Blue Jackets 6-2 at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're frauds. Detroit Red Wings shutting out the New York Islanders 1-0. The Winnipeg Jets remain perfect on the season. 6-0 as they get by the Blues 3-2. Vancouver Canucks double up the Chicago Blackhawks 6-3. Colorado Avalanche 3-2 over the Seattle Kraken. Nashville Predators 4-0. They finally get on the board. Now the Oilers only have one more than the Preds, and the Preds have sucked this year. The Ottawa Senators shut out the Utah Hockey Club in Salt Lake City. Calgary Flames in a shootout that went 6 rounds deep. Evgeny Malkin eventually stopped by Dustin Wolf, and the Calgary Flames win it. Would Jesse Puljujarvi have been the 7th shooter? I guess we'll never know. The Anaheim Ducks 6-1 over the San Jose Sharks, and the Vegas Golden Knights over the Los Angeles Kings 6-1. Woo!
Very nice. In one breath.
What an update.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rick, you can take the day off.
No. Jets remain undefeated.
Yeah.
Wild and Stars, though, right on their ass.
Oh,
like you'd think an undefeated.
It's a tight race.
That's Central, baby.
It's a tight race. You know who else hasn't lost in regulation? The Calgary Flames.
I know.
The Calgary Flames have not lost in regulation yet.
Tying things up late.
And then winning it in the
Wolf looking good. I think YouTube Trev. Did you have Wolf or do you pick him early in the season as some sort of? No, you didn't have him. Somebody was talking Wolf, but yeah, he's looking good.
Let's get into a YouTube Trev wellness check.
Well, he had 2 fronts last night, not just the hockey game. Trev.
Oh, sports last night. Sports last night.
Oh,
Tuesday sports.
Oh, this
no.
is not a.
Oh no, it's a farewell season.
Sorry to open the wound again.
Is
buddy.
the farewell season off the rails?
You must share.
No, Trev, say it ain't so. The farewell season.
Yeah.
Off the rails.
We lost our last. Well,
Yeah, bring yourself.
we
on
lost.
there,
Yeah,
Trev,
we lost our last 2 games. Last week was dodgeball, and that was annoying. And then today or last night we had basketball.
No, you lost at basketball.
Okay, I will say,
But
I did over under with Zach yesterday.
On your points.
Yep, and I and
You're betting on your own games. You're kicked out of Edmonton Sport and Social Club.
yeah, right. And I said 6 points. That's what the bar was.
You
And-
set the bar at 6 points.
Yeah.
well, given the minutes you
God,
get, yeah.
double that. 13 minutes. Or 13 points, sorry.
Rick, you owe me $35. I was on the over.
That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, like that was probably, it was just so frustrating. Like I don't play for it to be a bench warmer. And that's essentially all I was.
What?
And it was annoying.
Tell about the second half. No, tell about
we
the
had-
second half. Listen.
What?
So it sucked. So there's 3, we alternated. There's 6 guys on our team. And I was paired with Reagan and I think his name's Arthur. And then the other 3, they go on and we change. And we're, that's the line
Okay.
change. So
Is it 3-on-3 hoops?
there was
No, it's
6
regular
on,
5-on-5.
Or yeah, 5-on-5.
Okay.
But the 3 dudes have to be on 2 girls.
Okay, yeah.
That's how it goes. So I'm going out there and like our lineup, our starting 5 was just amazing. It was so good. And going into the second half, we finished with we had an 18-point lead on the team. What? We had an 18-point, and then so we just like finished. We're tired. Or like, hey, you guys start the the third quarter here or the second half, whatever you want to call it, and Yeah, it was just absolutely ridiculous. They lost the 18-point lead. We all of a sudden were tied, and I got like a 2-minute shift the second half there, and it was ridiculous. And so
because the people that let the lead get away wanted to fix
they wanted to fix their problem.
They wanted to fix their problems.
They wanted to fix their problems. So, not even joking, I just sat there and watched our 18-point league that I helped contribute to just dwindle away. It was so frustrating. Usually we all talk after the game, but I was ticked. No, I just left. It was the dumbest thing ever. It was ridiculous.
I can't believe you got 12 points and then got benched in rec league basketball.
Yeah. No one would come out. And I'm like, how about us? Like, we absolutely just demolished the team.
Were your other two guys who were with you, were they also furious?
Yeah, I imagine so. I didn't talk to them. I was kind of just in the corner with my feelings. And then I left right away. As soon as I shook hands and I didn't talk to anyone, I just was gone because it was just stupid. And then I get in the car. I'm like, oh, the Oilers are winning. This is great. 2-0. This is perfect.
Oh, no.
This is perfect. So I get home. Third period starts. And, you guys know the rest. It was frustrating. So, yeah, I went 0-2 for the night.
Has the trade deadline
lost.
Passed? Can you, is there a way you can force
we need to
your way
get
out of
Zach
this?
back.
Well,
we need to get Zach for rebounds and moral support because that's what I needed last night.
Force your way out of this situation.
You need to get Zach back for rebounds and moral support.
Big in the paint.
God. Oh, wow. Well, Trev, I'm sorry about your night, man.
it's a
I was
double
very
whammy.
happy with how I played, though. But then
That really sucks,
I
man.
didn't get to go out again, which sucked. But yeah. And so as far as the Oilers game, yeah, I can't speak for the whole 60. I only saw the last period, which was also annoying. It's like, why do I miss that? Anyway, but yeah, so it's frustrating. I feel like they shot themselves in the foot again. Just the overtime goal. There's nothing worse than losing an OT. That whole play was just a debacle.
Yeah, it was.
They did not. All they were thinking was offense, and yeah, so not ideal. But am I worried? No, I'm still not worried. They'll be fine.
They should be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not scoring goals. They're averaging 2 goals. They're averaging 2 goals per game.
We asked, too, if Carolina was a good team. That was a question as well. And I think, that was a real good hockey game.
Marty Necas is a stud. I mean, I don't know how that dude's not dropping 90 points every single season. He just looks incredible. Necas looks outstanding, man. That guy was buzzing in overtime. Finished with 3 points, I think, last night. I thought he was absolutely terrific. Todd Gack. I love Todd Gack chirping somebody else's name. Like, that's amazing to me. Todd Gack is in and says, Reagan and Arthur sound athletic.
Yeah. Those are weapons, eh? That you want.
Okay.
Were those the guys
build
on
around.
your line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Reagan, he's like a total surfer bro. He's shredded. He's a ripped guy, and he's
Really?
6'3". And he was actually he did very well. He was rebounding very well last night. So, but their names are Reagan and Arthur. I get it. It's not the best names, I guess.
It's not the
Most intimidating.
Your line
Reagan,
could be
Arthur, Trevor,
It
come
could
on.
be the tar line, the art line, or the rat line.
Oh yeah.
Reagan,
that's
Arthur,
right.
and Trev.
that works.
That could work.
It's not bad.
Both their last names are Eastern European. That would
that's
be
how
the
it
only
works.
saving grace on that.
Yeah, I tell you, Reagan Djokovic really didn't deliver last
Arthur
night.
Yankovic was.
That's a tough one. All right, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart, we see a couple of you are still having issues. I also see a bunch of people listening. So, yeah, we're working on that. We're on the verge of full-blown moving the station over to another server because these guys are ridiculous.
We move, right? That's when we move. That's the
This
saying.
is it.
We
I
move.
mean, that's what
Something
has to
happens,
happen.
we move. We go.
Today, the threat is going out
We're
to
on it.
Nathan, being like, if this issue can't get figured out, we will be leaving
He's staring down
and
an
going to
0-2
another
count.
server.
Yeah?
Let's see if this weasel got back to me last night. Oh, now Kasim is in.
Oh.
Hey, Dusty, can you please paste the links in live link here, which you provided above? Access denied page in your screenshot.
Why doesn't he do
What are you
that?
talking about?
Why
It's
doesn't he do
on
that?
your website.
Yeah.
Oh my God, these guys are idiots. I'm about to freak.
Rant.
I'm gonna rant anyway. I don't want to rant today. I'm trying not to rant today. But now this guy, Well, yeah, it's on your website. Why do I have to cut and paste the link for you?
Yeah, you should be doing the work.
Holy smokes, man. All right, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. You can text us. The Nielson Show is brought to you by South Ford Chevrolet. Go see Daniel. He's 0-7 in fantasy football. But that's because he spends so much time focused on sweet, sweet deals.
Says a lot.
This is what we said multiple times. Why would you want to buy a vehicle for somebody who's 7-0 in fantasy?
That's a danger. You run away from that. You sprint.
You think that guy's taking their life seriously right now? Or do you think they're just sitting there being like, oh, everything's perfect in my life? Like, there's you don't want to buy a vehicle from that guy. You want to buy a vehicle from the 0-7 guy. Probably desperate to make a deal at this point.
Well, yeah. He needs a win.
Go see Daniel and his team at South Ford Chev. Drive a little, save a lot. Employee pricing. Until the end of October, you can save up to $15,000. That's $15,000. That's 15,000 on select models right now at South Fort Chev. Leon's body language is in there going, rant.
Leon's body language.
I'm afraid that if I get off on a bit of a rant this morning, I might not be able to bring it back around. You know,
Well, give it a shot. It's the 6 o'clock hour.
Don't give it a shot. Where do I start?
Well, do you want to start on the LRT, the LRT platform, or the? Because that to me is the most.
Well, first of all,
egregious.
I'll start with Kasim. This will really get me going.
Sure, yeah.
my goodness, man! Like the link is the one you provide us. Why would I have to provide it to you? That makes zero sense to me right now. But you know what? I'm going to do it.
He's getting you to do his work. This is a
I'm going to do it right now. Yeah, here's your bloody link.
Earn your money. Earn your paycheck.
Boom. I'm going to say this is a link from your website.
Are you saying bloody too? Because they're in.
No, I didn't say bloody.
But that's slang.
See the
them.
message? You hear me?
Yeah.
So now it's on now. So guess what? So I log into the nasty chat last night. After the game, post-game show. What are the first things I see? People blaming Skinner for the loss.
Stuart Skinner.
Yeah, Stuart Skinner for the loss. Not Jeff Skinner, who could have buried one late in the game to actually put them back on top. Not that Skinner. The other Skinner. The Skinner who was the best player on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers last night. You can take your Connor McDavid texts and stuff them in a sack. Because Connor McDavid in overtime decided that he was going to take off up the ice when his team didn't have the puck. Bouchard was never going to get that puck. I know after the game he said it was a miscommunication. There's no communication. No, you didn't have the puck. Don't be flying the zone when you don't have the puck. Marty Nate just slips him behind, sides over to Aho, end of the game. Skinner should have had it. Are you delusional? Are people delusional right now?
It's like you and Kasim.
I understand Skinner is not Shesterkin. He's not Vasilevsky. I understand this. But there is no way you can watch that hockey game last night with any sort of proper brain and think that Stuart Skinner was the reason they lost the game last night. I hop on the chat last night on postgame. I see people being like, oh, 2-goal lead blown. These guys got to get a goalie. Did you watch the game? The two goalies were the two best players on the bloody ice last night. Then somebody texts in. I think it was Kootenay Tim Time or something. Anyway, he texted in last night and said, guys, I just got off the LRT, and there was a Skinner sucks chant on the LRT last night.
Stuart, I would assume.
These are people leaving the game who just paid lots of money to sit there and watch the game and sneak in a wave when it was 2-1. These people just watched the game, paying hundreds of dollars to be there, get on the LRT after, and chant about the best player on the ice that night sucking? What is happening in this city? It's ridiculous. And then last night, I hop on Twitter, and Hernan last night on the postgame show says, Hernan goes, you know what? Bouchard needs to step it up.
One of many points.
I thought that was an interesting one because, last night, Bouchard's shot share was 7-1. He was on the ice with Connor McDavid. Also had 4 giveaways last night, including one right in front of his own bloody net. But as soon as you say something bad about Bouchard, people are like, you're ridiculous. And then the theory comes out, oh, well, yeah, this is just mainstream media protecting Darnell Nurse. Edmonton media protects Darnell Nurse. Like, okay, you know what? Go find a Gregor clip or a Gregor article. I get it. He protects Darnell Nurse. But don't group him in with everybody else in the bloody market. Since we launched Edmonton Sports Talk, I don't know if anybody said a good word about Darnell Nurse in 14 months. But the media is protecting Darnell Nurse. And there's fans on an LRT chanting that Skinner sucks. What is happening in this city right now? Like, the city is not handling this well right now. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing look. It's an embarrassing look, and it infuriates me. Such bad takes. Like, It's awful. Skinner gave you a chance to win that hockey game last night. How many grade A saves did this guy make? Like, it's just, Chant, that guy sucks. Please. Like, it's ridiculous. They're running Darnell Nurse on his right side because they haven't acquired anybody that can reasonably play defense in the National Hockey League. And, Skinner sucks. Holy smokes. The one-timer, the winner, no chance on. Like, you left the other team's best player wide open, 12 feet from the front of the net for a one-timer. Skinner sucks. Might as well chant about that. Holy. Like, it's such a bad look. I can see why other markets mock this market. 100%. It's understandable. We deserve to be mocked as a city right now. It's awful. Awful.
Paris Jewelers inbox is blinging. Jason Luke says, I reiterate, can I get a conch for Stuart Skinner, who played an awesome game?
He was great last night. That's the reason they lost. Watch the game. Don't just pop into the post game with the same old lame takes.
Calber says, Oiler fans turning into Canuck fans. Andrea from Calgary says, mark this down for rant of the year. Stupid ass who can see steam coming out of your ears.
I mean,
not
if
digitally
I did-
enhanced. This is all real here. It's not...
If I didn't have headphones in, you probably could see steam coming out of my ears. Jen says, Dusty, take a Tylenol. I mean, I could probably use... In fact, I think I am getting a headache. Oh, and I
Clark Griswold. This is the Clark Griswold...
It's just... I mean, how can a logical hockey fan watch last night's game and the first thing you complain about is Stuart Skinner? What world are we living in?
Too busy doing the wave.
It just makes zero sense. None at all whatsoever. It's just, I mean, he'd probably play better if the Oilers media weren't following through on this was one I got last night. I see the media is continuing with OEG's narrative about hammering on Bouchard and giving Nurse a free pass.
We need more clear definitions of the media, I think, too. I can understand some media, maybe.
Well, yeah,
but not
some of the guys do.
There's no
Don't group
grouping
us all
in.
together.
Don't big umbrella tree here.
Yeah, like, so one guy has a love affair with some guy. It doesn't mean everybody's protecting him. It doesn't mean Jeff Jackson sending out a text to all of us being like, hey, make sure you say this about this guy, this
There's
about
no
this
group
guy.
chat.
I'm pretty sure he only does that with a few guys. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think Nurse was on the right, too, for that tying goal. Just to kind of piggyback onto the rant.
But this is even the thing. Like, on the tying goal, where was Dermott? And what the hell was Matias Janmark doing?
It was not a good look.
It doesn't make... Janmark was awful last night. If you actually had a properly built hockey team, you could scratch Matias Janmark after last night's game because he cost them 2 goals and put in, a 13th forward. But you don't have the luxury of doing that right now. So
one shot,
run it
2
back
giveaways
again.
for Matias Janmark.
It's just... I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be like flabbergasted by some of the awful takes we see, but still last night I was. Maybe it's on me for expecting better from people.
You let them down. And on a night when Bronny and Dad take to the... They do this to you.
I know. Like on that night, I see Jay says, you're 100% media, like it or lump it. I'm not saying that we aren't. I'm saying that it's a ridiculous, stupid blanket comment
opinion
to
here.
say that all of the media protects Darnell Nurse. Because this just in, all of the media doesn't. Darnell Nurse needs to be better. I said last year in the playoffs, midway through the Stars, was it the Stars series or was it the one before? Darnell Nurse was costing them the Stanley Cup. He played better later on in the playoffs. They had a better crack at it. But like to sit here and say, all of the Edmonton media protects Darnell Nurse. Like, it's just such a lazy, lame take. Stop it.
RCN says Dusty Rantanen. It's not a bad.
As somebody said, with this dad voice, I'm surprised Marshall skipped school yesterday.
Well, yeah. Hey, status update, though. He's doing...
Are you asking me as the father?
Yeah, for the... I'm asking you as the father.
He's fine.
Good.
His headache ended up going away around 11.
Couple hours of video games.
He said he watched a movie. Mommy got him ice cream, and he played video games.
There you go.
Legendary move by Marshall
That's all it
Bokey
takes.
Nielsen yesterday.
Well,
And tonight, you know where he is tonight? He's back in the pool.
the Barracuda's back in the drink.
If you would like to watch Marshall swim laps past kids tonight, I'm selling tickets for $35 a spot.
Very affordable, yeah.
Yeah. The swimming place doesn't know it yet, but it's going to be sold out event.
I think fans first, I can get them for 30.
Yeah, of course you can. No fees.
No fees.
5 fans, 4 fans. All right. Oh boy, what should we do next? I don't know. We'll talk about the hockey game. We're going to get into that. I was going to get to that's good, and that went completely off the rails.
Well, I think a lot of people would agree with Rant that that is good. You're getting the plaudits and the Peristro's inbox and nasty chat as well. I think, don't bow down to the slim minority there online last night. You MSM.
Oh, if only you knew. God.
Look at Grumpy Cat. There's other media in Edmonton covering the Oilers? That's
Good one, Grumpy.
Hey, you got
Appreciate that. Hey, if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. We got the morning after show on the way. We're going to dive into the fan zone, where my question today is, who do Oilers fans hate the most? Send it in. 780-218-9999. Craig Button just after 7 o'clock today. Let's get to a sports update right now. If you have a window in your house that was just shattered by my shrieking and ranting on the show this morning, Nisku Glass will fix it for you. Let's get to the update.
some Chiefs news in here as well, I think, though.
And of course, the Chiefs get DeAndre Hopkins, who looks like he can't play anymore. He's going to have 150 yards.
Sebastian Aho scoring in overtime. Connor McDavid with a pair of goals while Stuart Skinner stopped 30 of 33 shots faced. Oilers blowing a 2-0 lead, falling 3-2 to the Hurricanes. The 2-4-1 Oilers will get set to host Pittsburgh on Friday. Penguins last night dropping a 4-3 decision in Calgary to a shootout. Calgary of points in 6 straight. A 4-point night from Tomas Hertl saw Vegas snap a 3-game slide. 6-1 over the Kings. JT Miller, a goal and 2 helpers. Canucks double up Chicago 6-3. Taylor Hall recording his 700th career point in the loss. And the Winnipeg Jets improving to 6-0. They'd hang on to defeat the Blues 3-2. Tip-off in the NBA regular season last night. Anthony Davis having an evening, 36 points, 16 boards. Lakers over the Timberwolves 110-103. LeBron James' son, Bronny, he had a rebound in 3 minutes of action, while James Sr. had 16 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists. Earlier in the evening, it was the Celtics routing the Knicks 132-109. Raptors season opener goes tonight at home to the Cavaliers in one of 10 games around the association. Tennessee Titans and Chiefs are working to finalize a trade that would send wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to Kansas City. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Titans would receive a conditional 4th-rounder in a trade that is expected to be completed later on today. Back over to hockey, where action resumes tonight in the AJHL. With one game, it'll be the 8-3-0-1 Whitecourt Wolverines visiting the 3-8-0-1 Devon Extreme. And Cy Young Award winner, Rookie of the Year, and World Series champion and former Dodger pitcher Fernando Valenzuela passing away last night at the age of 63. His death comes as the Dodgers prepare to host Game 1 of the World Series Friday against the Yankees. Commissioner Rob Manfred speaking, saying Fernando Mania will be honored in a ceremony during the series from Dodger Stadium. Nisku Glass is growing and now hiring. If you're a nasty that wants to work with other nasties and can cut glass and replace windshields, then we want to hear from you. Email your resume to info@niskuglass.ca or stop by our shop to apply today.
Being a fan of the Oilers today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to have your say? It's the morning after show where we will talk about the game and let you know who you should blame. You want a show where you will know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game. You want a show so people know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game.
It is the Nielson Show, kicking off another day of great coverage here on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at edmontonsportstalk.com, thank you very much. Today, tell your friends about EST. We're going to give you a chance to qualify for a trip to Los Angeles around 7:25 today. This is a good one. It is an Wednesday. YouTube Trev to his team after the loss last night.
Get away from me, you horse's ass!
Post-game
That's
comments.
good. Paris Jewelers Inbox is where you can have some fun with us this morning. All right. They've got 22 locations across 4 provinces. One killer website, www.parisjewelers.com. The staff there is absolutely terrific. Eric and I make regular visits to the mall one.
Yeah.
It's great. Plus, flexible financing options. Do not pay for 1 year on your purchases. One of your text messages, maybe a Macramalla intro today, maybe not. You know who we met yesterday? Super Mario was in, who won the text last week.
Super Mario?
He was the one, the Hunt for Marshall, the Red October. That was
real good.
Yeah, I was sitting in Maddie's office and I hear him come in and I go, yeah, my name's Mario. I was like, Super Mario. I said, what was the text? He goes, the Marshall swimming one. I said, classic. Absolutely classic.
Get that man a mushroom.
Maybe you could win text today. Pop by the office, pick up the gift certificate. Hey, why not? A&W's got a deal for you. What's better than one A&W Mama Burger made with perfectly seasoned grass-fed beef patties topped with pickles, slices of onion, ketchup, mustard, teen sauce on a toasted sesame seed bun? 2 Mama Burgers.
You are flying
for
this morning.
$9.99.
Hey, what's in that coffee mug there? Hey.
No, I'll have to tell you.
Motor oil?
It's a bunch of bourbon today. That's it.
X-Ray J as well, gracing us. I missed him yesterday as well.
Yeah, X-Ray
Dry
J popped
pants or
by. He
what?
won. He did. His pants weren't pissed, and he's wearing a nice flannel jacket. So all in all, pretty good day around
Busy
the
day,
office
yeah.
yesterday. Yeah, pretty good day around
HQ.
the office. All right, 16 games in the National Hockey League last night. Let's get into your morning after show. We'll get to the one game that matters in this market, and that was the Edmonton Oilers having a 2-0 lead and pissing it away in the third period of the hockey game last night. Connor McDavid with his second of the year. Do we have Ekholm? I think the boys played Ekholm last night. Or McDavid, whatever you got, Trev. I know they played them both last night. We'll hear from Ekholm no, let's do Ekholm if we can. Anyway, Connor McDavid, his second of the season. And then the power play score, the penalty kill actually got worse last night. It was at 55% going into the game. It was 50% last night. So the penalty kill continues to struggle. McDavid on the power play gave the Oilers a 2-0 lead. And then in the third period, the Ghost, after a couple of phenomenal Stuart Skinner saves, Gostisbehere makes it 2-1. Marty Necas would tie it on a wide open backdoor tap-in. I don't know what Matias Janmark was doing on that play.
Robinson was open to make the pass as well. Like they were both, it was no man's land.
It was
classic case of no man's land.
It was a real bad on the rush breakdown. And then Sebastian Aho in overtime takes a feed from Necas, who probably should have been the first star of the hockey game last night.
I was going to say, get your hats ready. I thought in overtime for sure that the captain would.
The McDavid
do you know what I'm
hat trick
saying?
was coming.
I mean, whenever overtime looms and this
Yeah.
Oilers team, you got to give them a look. And I could have went both ways. I mean, that was a good hockey game. Separate your blue and orange fandom from this for a second. It was a great game for a neutral. Great way to cap a frozen frenzy day. Just didn't fall in their favor in the end. What was 6 seconds left in the extra frame too? Stings, hurts.
Here's another horrible take. This text is in. It says, Dusty, did Connor fly the zone? Yes, but OT is a man-to-man. There was a Kane right beside him leaving a 2-on-2 in the D zone. It was Bouchard that got beat by flying the zone that caused the 2-on-1. Bouchard wasn't flying the zone. Bouchard had the guy on the wall. McDavid was heading out of the blue line while the other guy was coming into the zone. Like, Bouchard had his man. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Bouchard, the puck came up along the boards. Gostisbehere got it. Bouchard closed on him. McDavid was thinking, I guess Bouchard is going to steal this puck and then play it up the ice, so I'm going to take off out of the zone. Meanwhile, Marty Necas is watching McDavid going this way. He's skating back in this way. He takes the pass. It's a 2-on-1. Puck's in the back of the net. Connor McDavid's in the neutral zone.
The last text that texter sent in is MJ is the GOAT as well.
I saw that. I'm not going to get
Well, no, I'm just
not
saying.
Today.
There's a theme here developing with anonymous texter.
Not today. All right, let's get into it. The EST big moment that happened last night. What are you looking at?
Well, when there's a weather, Trev knows this, storms coming in, there's watches and warnings, right? A watch means it could happen or develop. Warning means it's in the area. Take cover now. And I did tweet out yesterday, wave warning.
Oh, wave warning, yes.
Because you saw it developing, you saw it percolating, then the wave gets underway. Look, I know it's kind of, we laugh, and this isn't a laughing matter. But 2-1, the wave gets going. But I'm going to go to that Ghost Despair goal because I think it sums up the night perfectly. Stuart Skinner makes that video game-esque windmill behind the back save. Jack Michaels is losing his damn mind.
Yeah.
And then, 1 or 2 seconds after that, they pop it in. Ghost Despair, one of my keys to an Oilers victory yesterday was keeping him quiet. I think he's got 4 straight now. And that was on the PP as well, if I'm not mistaken. They were buzzing around. I think Louis DeBrusque if I had a dime for every time he said snapping that puck around last night as well, I wouldn't have to work anymore. But it's the Ghost Despair goal. 2-0. At that point, the next goal almost, wins. If the Oilers stretch it to 3, right? At that point, third period, they get a goal, 2-1. You're like, here we go. Wave gets going. Ghost Despair scores. And again, after that big save from Stuart Skinner, who will... more to say about Skinner as well in a positive fashion, but it's funny that he comes up with that big miraculous highlight reel save, and it's all for naught because they pop the biscuit in the basket, 2 seconds later. So the Ghost Despair goal to me.
That was a big one. I know last night, both Reed, if you missed the GCL Diesel postgame show last night, terrific. Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas was spitting some fire. Cassian was great. Reed Wilkins popped on once he got home from the rink. Both Gazzola and Reed thought it was Hyman missing that great 2-on-1 opportunity. Would have made it a 3-1 hockey game at the time.
Carolina missed a few empty nets, yawning cages as well.
In the first period.
And I'll agree with you, too, that Jarvis call. I thought the Oilers got a little lucky on a few of those.
The Oilers very much benefited from the officiating last night. I know usually everybody just wants to bitch about the officiating. The Oilers very much benefited from the officiating.
Brind'Amour was justified in his getting upsetness on the bench there after that one. I didn't really think that was too strong.
I was watching the game with Elizabeth at the time, and Elizabeth was just like, "That's not a hook."
Wow.
Just like, you're right, Muzz. It's not. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean,
a funny old hockey game.
Should have been able to take advantage of officiating actually being on their side. Like that was a tough pill to swallow last night. Last night as well, I guess. The save that Anderson made, like both goaltenders, I thought were excellent last night.
Yes.
The save that Anderson made on Jeff Skinner, when Skinner grabbed it and tried to tuck it back in, and it looked like it looked like he had this much net, and Anderson's pad comes out of nowhere. I thought that was kind of the EST big moment that happened. So I will go with I'll go with the Anderson save in the third period. I thought that was that line's best shift of the hockey game, and they just simply couldn't bury it. Super stat of the night. What jumps off the page for you, Rick?
I just want to get this AJ in the nasty chat as well. The other thing with Nurse is people need to realize you can complain all you want. He's not going anywhere. May as well accept it. I think that's kind of an always, we know the money. He's here. He's part of the group.
It's true.
Live with it. We're never going to win a cup with him. Too bad. You're going to have to find a way.
Does that contract end up being the thing that stops them from winning a Stanley Cup eventually? Well, if they don't, then yes, it probably does. But I still think McDavid and Draisaitl will deliver a cup here at some point. But anyway.
Super stat?
Yeah.
Point milked against a good hockey team. We didn't know what this Carolina Hurricanes team was to get a point. And I know that's not going to sound good today after giving up 2 goals.
It's tough when you're up 2 in the third.
I know. Also, the Oilers 48-5-2 now in games where McDavid scores at least twice.
48-5-2.
48-5-2.
So that was one of the rare situations.
So it's a rarity.
That didn't happen.
A great goal from him to open the scoring, goes hard to the net on the power play, gets the power play goal. I think he spoke post-game as well. It's another step in the right direction for the PP. It was a good hockey game. Goaltenders are playing well. You lose it with 6 seconds in overtime. It is a sour lemon to suck.
Reed nailed it last night, I thought. He goes, this was a 5-5 hockey game that was tied at 2 going into overtime.
Sure.
Like there was that many chances for both teams last night. Super stat of the night. I mean, if we're looking at it straight up from an Oilers perspective, you basically by default have to go with Connor McDavid. 2 goals.
I think we can also chant 909 this morning. You don't normally do it after a loss, but we don't have to say it really loud. You can do 909.
Like, I got to point it out. Yeah. Like he finished with a 909, but it looked like a much better night than a 909. Yes. And the goals that he allowed last night, I don't know how you can hang those on him, any of them. Like it's just... All right, 4th star of the hockey. I think the 4th star is going to be an easy one to pick
We just said
3
it.
stars last night, McDavid, Anderson, and Aho.
I mean, who else?
I mean, Natchez should have been a star too.
Sure, yeah, if
I
you
would
wanna go to
have
Carolina.
probably gone with the 2 goalies and Natchez. Well, no, the 2 goalies and McDavid.
McDavid, 2 goals.
I mean,
you
if
got to
it's
get
in
the winner.
Carolina, Natchez's 3 points are going to get you a 3-star.
It's Skinner for me.
Skinner's got to be the 4-star of the game last night. 38th star of the game last night was Matias Ekholm. I mean, a soft play around the boards to nowhere. I don't know what he was thinking on that play, and Janmark's usually this is why it was a weird night for Matias Janmark. Like, he's usually relatively steady. We haven't had many mornings when we've come in and hung 2 goals against almost exclusively on Matias Janmark, but that's what happened last night. So Matias Janmark will be your 38th star of the hockey game. Let's get to this right now in the morning after show. Here is Matias Ekholm, usually very good with the media. Let's hear what... is this guy being protected by the media or no? How's that work? How's that work now? Here's Matias Ekholm.
Were you guys giving up maybe a little too much all night and Stu had to be pretty busy?
There's a little bit of ebbs and flows. I thought on the first I wasn't happy at all about our play, but I thought the second was a lot better. And then in the third, obviously they get the early goal, but still didn't feel like they were. They had some zone time and they had the puck, but at the end of the day, I didn't think we probably were out of position too much. But then obviously get that off the rush, and overtime's overtime. So again, I think we can be better, absolutely. But right now it's just a matter of finding wins, and we can't really do that right now. So it's back to the drawing board a little bit.
Did you like the way you guys played in that third? You had chances, especially after they tied it, or was it a little too wide open for you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard right after the game, but I didn't mind the third at all. And as you're saying, like we had some of our goal scorers getting some really nice looks and opportunities, and I mean, another night maybe we score 1 or 2 there and put the game to bed. But obviously that didn't happen, and yeah, that's where we're at. But again, I didn't think it was just bad tonight. I think that there were moments, but again, we got to work on the consistency, and it's not just like we can't play offense all game, but we got to be able to defend a little bit better and deter their chances, because I thought they had too many, especially in the first. Yeah, but I think he was our best player tonight. I think he played unbelievable, and I mean, I told him now after the game, if he can play close to that, we're going to have a lot of wins here coming our way. But yeah, I really enjoyed the way he played tonight. He looked calm and composed, and he made the saves that we needed.
With your offense, as you mentioned, some guys that usually score aren't really scoring yet, and your power play usually scores, not scoring yet. Does it force you guys to be almost perfect everywhere else?
A little bit, I think. Again, I've been on this team now for a year and a half, and I know that when we get hot, we get really hot, and then sometimes when we obviously don't score some goals, it can linger a little bit. So it's about now just kind of resetting and not letting it linger too long, because we have a good team in here, and we show it. We get our looks, we get our chances, but it's about that last little percentile to bear down and to score those goals. And right now, I think give kudos to their goaltender. He was good tonight, but I think also if we can just tighten it up a little bit defensively and keep getting these looks, things are going to turn.
Is there a level of concern here, or do you guys feel like your game is coming around? It's just a matter of putting it all together?
No, I'm completely confident in our group. I know it's early in the year, and it's a matter of working through it. And I wasn't expecting everybody to be firing like just where we left off or whatnot. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I do like our team, and I think we're on the right track.
All right, there you go. That is Matias Ekholm. Always a good sort of reality check with Matias Ekholm.
No?
I mean, he basically just says it how it is. And I think most people should probably still agree with him that they are going to be okay. We know they started very poorly last year. We know they start poorly in playoff series. It's kind of been a thing.
Stoff said it.
What'd Stoff say?
Well, he said it on one of the intermissions. Like, this is just how it is. So you're going to have to accept it. It's like nurse.
That's one of the good things in sports. This is just how it is, so accept it.
This is the reality. Don't try to live in some sort of fantasy world here. Where
Don't try to live in some sort of fantasy world when you got 2 of the best players on the planet.
Yeah, just because you're paying that much to go to the game, it doesn't mean you should expect wins.
All right, there you go. That is the morning after show as the Oilers let one slip away. Get a point. The Carolina Hurricanes, but somebody texted in. They're like, Dusty, there's no room for moral victories. anymore with this team.
But it's not moral victories so much as it's just, again, Carolina, we were wondering, are they a good team? Are they not a good team? They were playing lights out, snapping the puck around. Not a good night within the division, again, for the Oilers here. But I wouldn't call it a moral victory. One that got away.
No, it's a point.
Yeah,
I mean, they got a point.
You don't have to
It's
say
exactly
moral.
what it
We don't
was.
need to, yeah.
All right, let's dive into the fan zone today. You're listening to the Nielson Show, brought to you by Southport Chevrolet. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, congratulations, you were able to connect. Now I've got both guys talking with me this morning.
A threesome.
Kasim and Nathan. Nathan sent me the same thing he sent me last week about, could you please provide your IP address? You can find it here. And what's your city? I replied, I said, we've already provided this information for you guys last week.
He's getting lazy.
This dude's
getting
about
lazy.
this close to getting snipped.
Well, again, they're about 7 hours ahead, so he's coming back from a lunch break.
Oh, yeah, he's coming back from lunch.
Probably had a couple pints of Guinness. He's feeling a little randy.
Loosey-goosey.
Oh, yeah.
Real funny, bud.
Yeah.
Real funny.
Smith TM14 says greasy 1 point. Maybe that's instead of the moral victory, right?
Yeah.
Can we hang it on that? Greasy?
Yeah.
Snatched a point from the...
Did you say call the point greasy? Greasy to me is when you steal one.
I know.
I don't think you stole a point. No, it was
got stolen from you.
Sloppy point. I don't know how to describe the point.
Point milked.
All right, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Macramalla intros or Wednesday's text. Your thoughts on, obviously, the Edmonton Oilers dropping one last night. 2-4-1, the start to the season. But let's dive into the fan zone right now. Of course, you can text us, 780-218-9999, or over on the nasty chat as well, and we will definitely get into a few of those. Tag them with Fan Zone so we know how you really feel.
Spooky season.
The Fan Zone.
Someone's been practicing.
Buy fans, for fans, no fees. We're not messing around. The best way to get into an Oilers game, I have a feeling that we're going to promote these guys so much that the tickets at Fans First are going to be flying. Like, you're not going to be able to even get a ticket because they're all selling at Fans First. Fansfirst.ca. Buy fans, for fans, no fees.
And for Marshall Swimming tonight as well. Maybe
you can also get tickets for Marshall Swimming lessons
Shave
tonight.
off that cost.
When I was putting him to bed last night, I was like, back in the pool tomorrow, buddy. He goes, I hope I don't get stuck behind those slow kids. I said, well, if you do, you just pass by him. He goes, okay, I will. I was like, my God. Prodigy. I'm going to live stream from the pool tonight.
That'll go for well.
I'm in the pool. I'm in the pool, swimming along beside him.
GoPro.
Look at my son.
Yeah.
Look at my son. All right, 780-218-99. The question today on the Fan Zone is a simple one. Who do Oilers fans hate the most this year? What's your answer? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999.
I saw Jeff Jackson's name pop up a few times in that chat earlier this morning.
I was trying to find the one. It came from a 403 number. I don't know if you changed... the name. Did you change somebody's name this morning?
I apologize proactively for that one here.
I can't find the 403 number.
Somebody in the nasty chat, though, called out Jackson.
Oh, here we are. It's a 306 number. It must be out of...
That's a
Saskatchewan number. Congrats on your Rider success this year. Tell you who I hate, Dusty. Whoever thought it was okay to roll into a cup this year with this defenseman, this group of D, which is a fair assessment. That is a fair assessment. Dr. J says, guys, this question today is very obvious. Can't be more obvious. Whoever started the wave. Yeah, that's a good one. 780-218-9999. Who are you viewing as this year's whipping boy? And who are you using as your whipping boy this year? Who do you think we've seen pop up the most with this 2-4-1 start?
Nurse hasn't been as much as stretches.
Are you protecting him right now?
I am. I'm part of the MSM apparently. But no, it's kind of funny that, I think this morning Dermott Nurse, a lot of no bueno for that. I saw a couple of messages in there.
But how can we as a market?
You're saying for the season
hang Dermott out?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Guy was on a PTO and made the team because their blue line sucks.
But that goes back to Jackson Bowman, the management group of bringing this team together, this collection of players for this season. Somebody had a Jackson message in the nasty chat. If it was you, please send it back in. But
I think the definition of a whipping boy to me is taking unjustifiable heat. And I think that guy so far this year has probably been Stuart Skinner. Not that he's been great, but to blame a goalie for a team that's averaging 2 goals per game
easy out.
is kind of hilarious. Here's the issue that people are having this year is because the guys that you usually just want to praise and they walk on water on the river and you don't want to say anything about it, those are the guys who are letting this team down right now. Hyman has 0 points. Nuge has pretty much been a non-factor the entire year. McDavid and Draisaitl are not even remotely close to what they usually do.
Well, Draisaitl was called out for taking dumb penalties as well. That was another...
I saw somebody last night even online being like, that wasn't a cross-check. Yes, that was a cross-check.
You may hate it, but it
was a cross-check for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that was a penalty.
Not the first time, right?
7-8-0.
Bobby LaFrench says Draisaitl got his payday and he's done, winky face.
Now, at least he winky-faced.
Yeah, he winky-faced.
It's tough to be winky-faced guy in the fan zone. But Bobby LaFrench, imagine Bobby LaFrench actually just being some regular guy in Alberta who doesn't have any French connections at all.
Bobby the French.
He's just pretending in the Paris Jewelers inbox because Paris Jewelers, he's Bobby LaFrench. That must be it.
Ooh la la. Bone says it's time to start whipping Paul Coffey. His D-men are struggling. Fan zone.
Now, this is what happens when you have defensemen that shouldn't be playing as much as Dermott Emberson when he's in play.
Does the phone get a little more hot now for the top 4 right D call? I mean,
no, they found one last night. Darnell Nurse. He's the right shot.
Look
second pair
look
D.
at you defending him again. You can't resist, eh?
People must have missed my hilarious joke yesterday when I said Darnell Nurse is playing right. Usually he plays wrong. But you're just sitting there, everybody's going, oh, protect him. Dave says, guys, you can blame the defense and the goaltending all you want, but they're averaging 2 goals a game.
Yeah, well,
and you're not going to win many games like that.
It's all collective.
I don't know who was it last night. It must have been, I don't know if it was on Sportsnet or if it was on our GCL Diesel postgame show after, but somebody pointed out, like, they're scoring 2 goals per game. That's what bad teams do. You know, like,
yeah, well, especially with the offensive firepower that this one has.
If you're like scoring 2 goals per game in the National Hockey League is pathetic for anybody. But for a team with McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, and Nuge to be scoring 2 goals per game, it's mind-boggling.
I know your question was whipping boy and the undeserved blame, but again, we talked about Nuge, minus on the season, Hyman, no points, Arvidsson. Like, Skinner's a new addition. He's been a bright spot offensively. Arvidsson's still been invisible. RNH, the struggles continue there. Hyman, I think, is on pace for 4 goals this season. D-Rock, careful here with this text. Bouchard should be whipping boy with his brutal giveaways and nonchalant demeanor.
Careful. He has shots. Bouchard had a shot share of 7-1 last night. So you definitely can't say anything about the fact that he's playing the game at half speed right now.
Dr. Dry says Bowman feels like the other teams hate him and are picking on him. Double offer sheets and a mysterious second team that put a waivers claim in only with the Oilers and not when Vegas got him.
Dun, 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 dun.
Look, you can put that tinfoil on. I'm here for it.
Only the scariest.
Fan zone.
Only the scariest takes in the fan zone. All right, 780-218-9999. The Edmonton Oilers are 2-4-1 to start the year. Some good teams in the division. They'll definitely have a little bit of work to do, but it's still very early.
They lost overtime last night. Good thing is they're still in the Pacific Division.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll get into it with Button a little bit. Like, at what point do we just have to take the Calgary Flames kind of seriously? I'm not saying like, oh, God, they're for real, but now do you look at them and go, oh, maybe the Flames could be a playoff
If
team.
the Oilers will get back to where they should be, then the Flames, you can't say both of those, right? Like, they'll eventually fall back down too, won't they?
Probably, I would think. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. Let's change 200 by the time we are done with Button. And if you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at edmontonsportstalk.com, you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. And we'll get to more of those text messages. We got Macramalla intros kind of piling up. I'll try to get to a few of those as well. EST legal analyst and guy who fake sleeps in the car on the ride home so the Uber driver has to carry him up to his bed. Just like a classic little kid.
Good night, sweet prince.
God. Marshall and the Muzz try to do that sometimes, but as soon as I open the door in the back to pick him up, they start like smiling.
Really hard. Like the eyes are just...
You can't fool me. I'm unfoolable. All right, Craig Button for Pro-Am Sports coming up here after an update with Lieutenant Eric for Davin and the great crew over at Green Plan. Let's get the latest on a busy night in the National Hockey League.
Changing 100.
Yeah, frozen frenzy last night. One of the games saw the Oilers blow a 2-0 lead, falling 3-2 in overtime to the Hurricanes. Connor McDavid had a pair of goals in the loss, while Sebastian Aho notching the winner for the Canes. Oilers now 2-4-1 on the season. They'll get set to host Pittsburgh on Friday. Penguins coming up short down in Calgary. They fall in a shootout 4-3 to the Flames. Flames have points in 6 straight. A 4-point night from Tomas Hertl saw Vegas snap a 3-game slide. 6-1 victors over the Kings. The Jets, they improved to 6-0. They'd hang on to defeat the Blues down in St. Louis 3-2. And the Canucks doubling up Chicago 6-3. Anthony Davis leading the way with 36 points and 16 rebounds. Lakers over the Timberwolves 110-103. Earlier in the evening, it was the Celtics routing the Knicks 132-109. The Raptors season opener goes tonight. They're at home to the Cavs in one of 10 games around the NBA. News out of the NFL this morning see the Titans and Chiefs working on a deal to finalize a trade that would send wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to KC. It's courtesy ESPN's Adam Schefter. The Titans would receive a conditional 4th-rounder in a trade that is expected to be completed later on today. Back over to hockey, where the AJHL picks up again tonight. Just the one game. The 8-3-0 Whitecourt Wolverines visit the Devon Extreme. And some sad news out of the baseball world last night. Cy Young Award winner, Rookie of the Year, and World Series champ, former Dodger pitcher Fernando Valenzuela, passing away at the age of 63. His death coming as the Dodgers prepare to host Game 1 of the World Series Friday with the Yankees. Commissioner Rob Manfred said that Fernando Mania will be honored in a ceremony during the series down at Dodger Stadium. Sports Update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting service, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Tutti and Eric and all of the bad cats like Wyshynski and Noodles. Gadget and Gage it. Maybe it's but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some antics and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the Canes? Macramalla, Rapaport, Dragger, and Demir. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about them give a present if we go on. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
7:05 on the Nielson Show. What say you, AM Nasty crew? Thank you very much for being here this morning. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. That would be great. The Nielson Show is brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. In the Fort, go see Daniel and his team, not his fantasy team. They're 0-7. Go see Daniel and his sales team and his service team and his great staff at South Fort Chev. Employee pricing, month of October. Save $15,000 off select models. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox. One of your text messages will end up winning text of the day. This one is in. Operator Rich says, guys, I think we as a whole, media and fans, have to stop saying it's so early. We're approaching 10% of the way into the season.
I replied to the text as well. Then they should offer discounts to home games. Well, like, what are we doing here?
Take a little bit off.
Why not?
Yeah,
if they're not going to show up fully, then you shouldn't either with your wallet.
We've got Craig Button with us from TSN, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialist. Let Pro-Am help you with their team fundraiser, no-risk auction, and raffle items. Visit them in store for all the details. Located in Edmonton at the corner of St. Arbor Trail on 128th Ave. Online at proamsports.ca. Let's ask Craig Button that question. Mr. Button, good morning. When is it not too early anymore? When does early end in an NHL season?
Yeah, right about now, isn't it? There's certain trend lines that I think you look at, and you start to go, wait a second, is it too early to move your penalty killing from one of the worst in the league, if not the worst in the league, to higher? What are you going to say? Oh, it's too early to worry about our terrible penalty killing?
Yeah.
The penalty killing was great last year for the Edmonton Oilers. It's awful. And, Connor McDavid, and so I'm going in a couple different areas here. Connor McDavid post-game last night said, we played well enough in the last two games to win. So what did them in? The penalty kill in both games. Okay, the first goal in Dallas, bad. First goal last night gets Carolina back in the game on the penalty kill is no good. And then, the certain decisions, and Connor talked about this. He said, we're not talking enough on the ice. And I know what he's talking about. He's talking exactly about that last play of the game where Evan Bouchard is trying to make a play, and you don't want to take that away from a player, but somebody's got to say, no. And I think that's what Connor's talking about the communication. And so they're doing just enough to lose games that they played well enough to win. And at the end of the day, if you want to keep saying it's early, it's not too early. And the other thing I'm going to say is, the Edmonton Oilers, they have to address areas of their team. And the defense core has to be addressed. It's not good enough. And you know what? Until that improves, you know what they're going to run into problems with? We might be talking about it's too late.
They haven't addressed it, and it's too late. I completely agree with you. At some point, that could end up being the conversation because, 7 games.
Some point soon, Dustin. Some point soon. Who thinks that Travis Dermott, Troy Stetcher, and Ty Emberson are the answer on the blue line? Nobody does.
Yeah, you can't possibly think that. We talked about it coming into the season, Craig. Dermott was on a PTO. Stetcher, they brought in last year, didn't even play him then. And Emberson had played 30 games, and they've been rotating these guys in their second pairing. If you are a Stanley Cup contender, that shouldn't even have been part of the plan heading into the season. You know what I mean?
Bingo. A team that went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final last year has depleted themselves at the most critical area of their team right now, which is the defense core. And I'll be very clear here, Dustin and Eric. I'll be very clear. There needs to be an urgency to adding defensemen that bolster this blue line. An urgency, not a let's wait and see, because those three guys are not the answer. They're not the answer, nor will they ever be.
Skinner and Anderson last night were both excellent. We'll get to the Carolina Hurricanes in a second. It's always interesting when you break down these games after, and Tom and Reed Wilkins and Matt Cassian on a post-game show last night we're talking about it. In the end, this team, 7 games into the season, is averaging 2 goals per game. Hyman has no points. Nuge doesn't have a goal yet. Prior to last night's game, McDavid was on an 82-point pace. Leon Draisaitl less than that. And, you're right about the blue line. I 100% agree with you. But my question is, where's the offense from, your key guys? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, we'll try to make sense of it. There's some really good, obviously top-notch players that we're talking about. I think Evan Bouchard had his first assist of the season last year. Or last night, right?
Night was his first assist.
It was his first assist, right? So you have Evan Bouchard who generates offense. I thought Jeff Skinner had a lot of good looks in the game. He was somebody that was in. He was in and around that net and trying to score.
For 5 games, Craig.
Skinner's he has been. He's been real good. Victor Arvidsson remains pointless. So we can talk about the offense. To me, they've gotten goalied. They got goalied again last night by Anderson. Anderson was really good last night, and Ottinger was really good in Dallas. So, I think that the encouraging things for me about the offense is they're generating some chances, and I think some dangerous chances, but they have to get going here in a more. You think about last year down the stretch, and the stretch could be from February right to Game 7. They rolled. And we know how great McDavid is and how great Draisaitl was and what Hyman did. They rolled. There seems to be this kind of looking around for the next guy to do it. I love Connor McDavid last night, just taking that shot right off the bat. He kind of gave a little bit of a glance and he said, "No, I'm shooting. I'm shooting."
The defender
and I
tested
think
a tire too, and he kind of
he's just like, "Oh, it's on now."
Right in there.
Exactly, Eric. And so just to finish up on that, I think there's some positive signs on the offensive side of things. I do think there is. And yeah, I know what the numbers tell you, and we can look at the first 3 games that they played like in preseason form. But I think there's some signs there on the offense. The least of my concerns, honestly, are on the offensive side. Like that blue line, it is really suffering.
TSN's Craig Button here on the Nielson Show. The one area we haven't gotten to yet, I guess, is in the crease. And I'm not going to say a fan base divided last night because there were reports on our postgame show of a throng of fans on the LRT chanting "Skinner sucks." You mentioned they got goalied, and Ottinger, again, fresh off his deal. He's a great goaltender. Anderson standing on his head last night. I thought from a neutral point of view last night, a great hockey game, and 2 goalies just going at it. 30 shots apiece going down the stretch there in the third. But you are not in that crowd, and I will say a vocal minority of people chanting "Skinner sucks." It's a shame that he's put up some good performances here, but just getting that bit outdone by the opposing goaltender.
Yeah, and a bit outdone. So, you think about the opposing goaltender, and there's nothing Stuart Skinner can do about the opposing goaltender. I think he's found some real settled play in his game. I thought he was really good. I thought he was good against Dallas.
Yeah.
And again, like what you want to see is progression. And Stuart, it just seems that like Stuart's going to be one of those lightning rods, like when things don't go well. It just feels like that for him. And I think that Stuart has matured to a point where he knows how to handle it and gets back in there. But I'm going to say it again. Like, I'm not worried about Stuart Skinner. I'm not worried about Stuart Skinner. The massive hole in the Oilers lineup, that they can't defend, they can't get the puck out of the zone, they're vulnerable. The other teams are sitting there chomping at the bit to get out on the ice against the Edmonton Oilers 4, 5, and 6 defensemen. They're chomping at the bit. Like, and what do you think Rod Brindamore is doing last night? We're getting right after these guys. They can't handle us. And again, and I'm being emphatic and a little bit louder. It won't get better till they improve the blue line. It can't. It's no good.
They got to do something, and we'll
he's
see
not
how long
covering
he
for
waits.
them, eh?
That's right. Craig Button with us on the show this morning. Hey, Carolina, we were asking yesterday, is Carolina still, this is before watching them last night, is Carolina still an elite team in the East? Would you view them as that still, Craig? They've lost some bodies. So who are the Hurricanes now?
It's amazing. It seems like we're always going to underestimate the Carolina Hurricanes. It just feels like that's their narrative. And all they do is go out and find a way to be competitive, find a way to be in games. I think Rod Brindamore is one of the underrated, excellent coaches in the National Hockey League. And because what he does is he looks at what he has on his team and he says, "This is how we're going to play." And then he's uncompromising in the areas about details and effort and competing on a puck and everything. And if you're not going to do those things, you're not going to play for Rod Brindamore. And they still have Jacob Slavin, and they still have Brent Burns, and they still have Sebastian Aho, and they still have Svechnikov, and they have some really good players in there. Martin Necas is a really good player.
Man, he's good. Well, every time I watch that guy, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dustin. So they have really good, elite players, and so I think that what defines elite? Like, I'm not going to underestimate the Carolina Hurricanes. I think they're in a group of teams, or would they be at the top of the list of what you call Stanley Cup contenders that are right there? Not, but they're right below it. And, they got room to maneuver, and they do maneuver. And I think they're a really good team. Think about last night's game. Think about the timeout Rod Brindamore called, like late in overtime.
Yeah.
And that was to give his top play, because he knew McDavid and those guys were coming out. And he said, I'm going to give our best players a chance to be rested to go against that. And it pays off for him with the win.
Hey, quickly, I joked earlier we're going to break down all 16 games with Craig Button today. But we got to quickly ask about the Calgary Flames. I mean, they have not lost in regulation yet. I mean, I'm not viewing them as a contender or anything, but is it time to just say that they're going to be much better than we expected, and maybe they do work themselves into a playoff conversation?
I always thought they were going to be a competitive team, and they were not going to be an easy out. This wasn't going to be last year's San Jose Sharks with 20 wins and getting blown out of games. I always thought they'd be competitive. Do I think they're a player? I thought a lot of things had to go right for them to contend for a playoff spot. Well, 6 games into the season, a lot of things have gone right for them, mostly in the net. Dan Vladar has been excellent on the road. Dustin Wolf has 3 wins. Dustin Wolf was excellent in the game versus Pittsburgh on Tuesday. He was excellent. So, in an area where, they trade Markstrom, trying to figure out who's going to lead the charge in the net, they've had really good, solid goaltending. And the competitive part of their team allows them to stay in games. And they have some good players. Do they have the depth? Do they have the experience in certain areas? You're gaining experience. We'll wait and see. The blue line still is like the Calgary Flames blue line is not great, but Kevin Ball and Mackenzie Weegar and Rasmus Anderson are 3 really good defenders, and they're playing very, very well. So, you pile up the wins and you get to this point, certainly something that you can hang your hat on. But it's going to still take a lot of things to go right for the Flames to be in a playoff hunt, down the stretch, in my view.
Craig, man, we thank you for switching from Tuesday to Wednesday. I'm glad we got you the day after the game. It was good fire today, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Hey, and listen, turn on the Jay Show. I did a comment on all 16 games last night on the Jay Show.
Of course you did. I love it. Legendary move, Craig. Legendary move. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks.
There you go. Jay Henry Show last night. Craig Button, all 16 games. What do we expect?
Set him up and knocked him down.
Of course, that's what you expect. He made an interesting point. Like these guys are going to score goals. I mean, they're not a 2-goal per game team. They're a more than 3-goal per game team. They're going to score goals. But how much longer are we just going to see this continuous rotating of defensemen next to Darnell Nurse? Like how much longer can they wait before they give up whatever they have to give up to somehow find a defenseman?
He brought up Rasmus Anderson as well, and you just you think, And what's the tax now? You're dealing from a clear spot of desperation. I mean,
you're screwed. I know fans don't want to hear it, but they're screwed when it comes to the blue line.
Well, and that's, again, you go back to the Bowman thing as well, and there's something to be reading between the lines there as well. Pair of offer sheets, the whole waiver thing. Now you have to go out and just find a top 4 right shot D.
Those are easy.
Good luck.
All right, there you go. That's Craig Button for our great partners over at Pro-Am Sports. We're going to get to the NFL Random Wheel. We are going to get to the EST Flyaway to Los Angeles. We got a keyword coming up for you this morning, so we'll give you that. Make sure you're listening. That keyword will be in about 7 minutes. Let's get into that's good. I wanted to get into this around 6:20 this morning, but I went on a rant that people are saying is SD worthy. We're going to have about 50 rants in the final mix for the Estes.
You're going to need to build a shelf just for your rant trophies.
The guy we had on, Button. Yeah. Button's on the list for possible Estes for rant of the year.
He should be, and he'll probably pop up a few more times.
So he's got that going for you. That's good for the Italian center.
A little hungry, eh? Probably after that rant, you're probably...
I mean, a little, what's the saying? Famished?
Peckish?
Famished. Hand-stretched, house-made dough, topped with their signature sauce and the best ingredients from the deli. Our pizziolos have done the hard work. So you just need to throw them in the oven. You look like a hero in 10 minutes.
Could do that right now.
Or straight from the freezer.
Hey,
Trev, you want some pizza?
well, he had a tough night on the court.
He did.
You ranted this morning. That's got it.
You know what? Might as well.
Yeah,
Might as well throw one in. I think, and we don't have the pepperoni. We got 2 other types, I think, over there. So we'll see what we got. We're gonna throw one in. So we have them frozen over there, and we put them in last time for like 24 minutes frozen, and it ended up being a real nice cook. It was a little bit more of a cook than usual, but it was delicious. So if you have not yet tried the take and bakes from the Italian Center, you are missing out. Here's the that's good. 2 things for that's good from last night. 1, LeBron James and Bronny being on the court together. I mean, whether you're a LeBron James hater or however you view it, very cool moment last night as a sports fan to see LeBron and Bronny come out onto the court together. There's like 3 minutes left in the first half. Lakers were cruising. They get to have their moment. Bronny's going to need time in the G League. I think it's going to be a thing. Probably better for his long-term development as a player. He's not going to play much if he sticks around the Lakers this year. He'd kind of be a garbage time guy as a second round pick at the age of 20. That's where all those guys end up. They end up in the G League. But it was a cool moment to see those guys coming out there together. Like, I can't imagine doing that, like, with my son or with my dad, having a chance to do something that has never been done in the history of the NBA. It was kind of a goosebumps moment, wasn't it, Trev?
I got goosebumps watching it. It was sweet. The one play there, like LeBron just throws down, and I can't wait.
With his son in the corner.
Yeah,
on the court
and
watching.
there's going to be a photo that comes out, and that's going to be all time. Like that's historic, right? It has never happened. It's just crazy, but like,
there has to be a picture of that from the corner.
Yeah,
you would think, because Bronny was standing in the corner as an outlet, and LeBron cut back door, and he just.
Yeah, man,
boom,
like vintage LeBron. He still has it.
Hard dunk.
Yeah, like that was so sick to see. And so I can't wait to see the photo. But yeah, props for Bronny, man. Like if that's my dad, like I'm freaking out. Like I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, he went and picked up his man. It was
like so good for him as well. But holy crap, like it was really cool to see, like him or hate him. It was a cool moment.
Yeah, I thought that's good. That was a pretty cool moment. The other thing that's good, and we'll talk about this a little bit with Macramalla, I think. Macramalla made a claim that Lamar Jackson is hands down the best quarterback in the NFL. So we'll get to that a little bit with him when he pops
better
by.
than Mahomes?
Send in your Macramalla intros. But this also has to be, that's good. Shohei Otani's 50th home run ball. Did you guys see how much this sold for?
No.
$4.392 million for the 50th home run ball. Imagine going to a baseball game and becoming a multi-millionaire. What is this, an Oilers 50-50? This is insane. $4.3 million for Otani's 50th home run ball.
Most expensive ball of all time.
Yeah.
Adjusted for inflation, I would assume, with all the other...
It's...
the Bartman ball.
That's why you'll see fist fights for legendary baseball moments. That's what happens.
You're not giving that one to a kid, hey?
No, that one stays with you.
Could you imagine?
Can you imagine that? You know that was the Otani 50. Oh! $4.3 million for a baseball. Foisey says, I would have kept the ball. I wouldn't have. Somebody told me I could get $4.3 million for a baseball, regardless of what it is.
Look at you sitting on your Lewis Hamilton cards.
Well, that was my lesson. I should have sold the Lewis Hamilton card when I was offered $4,500 US for it. So yes, I would have sold this ball immediately.
And your shoebox full of Lawrence rookies.
Yeah. No, I'm going to hang on to those. I'm in on that now. Like, it's just, I can't imagine going to a baseball game and leaving with a baseball that's going to completely change your life. That's good. For Italian Center. Pizza's in?
I can buy a lot of pies.
The pie's in.
Yeah.
What do we got over there? What pie did you put in?
It's got black olives on it.
Oh, I'm going to have to pick those up.
I might not be.
I'm not big black olives.
I don't run with
guy.
the black olive either. Not a lot. I could maybe
That's
eat
weird.
one.
I thought you would run with everything.
No, not those. I like the green olive. We have a little jar at home, the garlic olives.
Okay,
you get a little toothpick and whatever. A martini.
I never had a black
extra olives. You ever had a martini? Next time you go with suits, you should get one at whenever you guys go to those
Martinis.
high-end bars.
That's with the green olive.
Extra olives, extra dirty.
That's interesting.
Gin martini.
A gin martini, please.
Very dirty.
Is that what Bond does?
Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah.
Very delicious.
Ooh, Trev's doing Bond impressions
Hey, you
in the
know.
corner. Give it to us,
Sean
Trev.
Connery.
Come on, that's good. James Bond
That's
impression.
good. We got the pie in the
Oh,
oven.
so you did a shaken, not stirred, or whatever you did there.
It's one thing. Like I don't know how you guys can like the impressions. I love it, but like that's one thing I can't do it on the spot, man. I love doing impressions, but the second I do it, and then people are like, do it again. I freak out.
Once
I
you
get
start
nervous.
laughing, your muscles. You got to relax them.
Yeah,
muscles.
I don't know. It's like another
can't do
fear
it
of
now.
mine. Another fear, honestly.
All right.
I'm sorry.
You know what? If you feel the urge to do it again, just say it whenever.
Pop
Okay.
in it.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do
All
it.
right, let's spin the NFL random wheel. Then we got the keyword. Then we got Macramalla. We got free advice.
Pies in the oven.
Jam-packed second hour. The Oilers got a point. Hey, they got a point. All right, there you go. They didn't give up 2 points to a team in the division or conference.
Bang.
You want positives? We got some positives. What wasn't positive last week was this random NFL wheel. Didn't deliver the old Mike Evans touchdown like Desk Wheel over here. I have to give Desk Wheel the advantage over Random Wheel. Random Wheel last week gave us the Commanders, gave us the Bengals, but also sewered us with the Jets.
As I said,
on the
it didn't
random
know about
parlay.
Russ Wilson. If it knew about Russ Wilson,
It might have changed. It might have changed it a
so
bit.
scared.
Fair point. Fair point. All right, let's spin the random wheel for the parlay this week in the National Football League with our partners over at CoolBet. We are less than a week away. Next Tuesday, Lock Shop Poker event number 3. Join us next Tuesday night for some good online poker. I'll be streaming over on our YouTube page. All right, Trev, let's spin that wheel.
We got the Falcons.
Falcons. All right, let me see here. Atlanta Falcons this week. I think I like this one. Who do the Falcons get this week?
They're
The Bucks. And the Bucks are banged up.
in Tampa. Raymond James.
Mike Evans is out to week 11 or beyond.
Godwin got cursed by the wheel.
Godwin's ankle is actually underneath the table right now. All right, so we have Atlanta minus 145. Dare I say,
like that.
a nice start for the wheel. All right, spin that wheel.
We have the Broncos.
Bo Nix.
But guess what? They're a heavy favorite. They get the Carolina Panthers. I like that too. I like
Mile
that
high
too.
as well, hey?
The wheel
Yeah,
knows. Can the wheel deliver us?
Andy Dalton got in a car accident
Let's
yesterday.
go.
Yeah.
What's that?
Andy Dalton got in a car crash yesterday.
I saw that.
So he may not,
Everybody's fine.
Everybody's fine.
Nobody
yeah,
had to
but
go to the
will he be
hospital.
playing? I mean, who knows? Maybe they got even better for the Broncos.
All right, let's go. One last
Please.
spin. Give us something good. Let's go.
Spin.
Spin that wheel.
And we have
Bears.
the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Ooh, that's a tough one. On the road against the Commanders.
Oh boy.
Well-
the wheel always makes things interesting,
Put up
doesn't
or
it?
shut up. It's that final spin, hey? This is the Jets spin from last week.
Do we have an update on Jaden Daniels?
Where's his mom?
I just picked up Marcus Mariota in Spite League.
look too bad.
if
Didn't
he
look too
doesn't go,
bad.
who
It's
would
good.
you rather start? Marcus Mariota with the Commanders, who scored a ton of points,
It's good
or
insurance.
Aaron Rodgers and the Jets?
Great insurance policy.
Those are my two insurance policies right now.
You gotta,
Oh, I got it. Is this
I like how
Kasim?
we all know now, eh?
Is this Kasim? What's happening here? Or that might have been the wheel still. That's the wheel still. Damn. Don't get us excited. We're trying to hear back from Kasim and Nathan here.
sound.
All right, so that's plus 278. Broncos money line, Falcons money line, Bears money line. All favorites. We didn't get stuck with any dogs this week.
The wheel is just.
And it's plus 278. We'll get it boosted. It'll be above 3-1. You'll find that on the top at coolbet.com. They call them the combo cards. You'll be able to find it there. We'll get into it on the Lock Shop today as well from 11 to 12. I'll be doing the Lock Shop today from Boston Pizza, Kingsway Boston Pizza. Myself and Tommy will be there for the oil stream. I'll be there for the Lock Shop today as well. So if you want to swing by some plates for lunch today, join us. Boston Pizza, Kingsway location. You two, Trev's going to make an appearance because you're there. How many times a week are you at the Kingsway Boston
Old
Pizza?
stomping grounds. Yes, definitely be there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you going to be having a fishbowl? Are you going to do a fishbowl?
Yeah,
He's a fishbowl boy.
Thai chicken bites?
Yeah, at least 2 or 3 times probably.
Just
to say hi.
After being benched in co-ed rec league basketball last
Almost
night.
went there for a brewski.
I was going to say. Yeah, you need a fishbowl today.
I do.
All right, let's get your keyword for the EST Flyaway to Los Angeles. Edmonton Sports Talk is giving you a chance to win a trip to LA December 26th to December 30th. Phenomenal trip. Tell your friends. All you got to do is listen and text in the keyword to get into the mix here, okay? It's all presented to you by the 780, homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground as well. So check them out online, 780.com. That's the word 7 and the number 80. So SEVEN 80.com. Or you can pop by any of their 5 brick and mortar locations: Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall out by the airport.
I like that brick and mortar, hey? It's a strong, like...
Yeah.
It's,
That's a brick and mortar. Look at our brick and mortar.
Yeah.
It's terrific. But the whole story of the 780's great. I had a chance to get to know Adore a little bit, the owner and the founder of it, and grinding out for his love of the city with the 780. So you got to check it out. Today's keyword is, you just text us in right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Today's keyword is waves.
How ironic.
Come on.
No way.
Today's keyword, schedule.
Maddie,
We didn't even change this.
You son of a gun.
Today's keyword is waves. After Oilers fans decide to start a wave when they're winning 2-1 in a very tight hockey game in the third, when you had to have a sense that it was trending in the wrong direction.
No more waves.
Wow.
No more waves.
I don't even want to see the word waves come into the chat today.
It was a nervous one, too. Like, you could tell, like, there was a lot of people. I mean, only half really participating. And
Crumpy Cat was in and says, just so you guys know, I did not participate in the wave last night, but my lovely female friend did.
That's kind of how it goes, hey? Solidarity.
Grump, I don't know if you're married to her or not, but you should probably dump her. Today's keyword is waves. Text waves to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Macramalla on the way in about 12, 13 minutes. But first, free advice. What do you need help with? Fantasy football, life advice, going to hockey game advice. Whatever you need, it's free. 780-218-9999. It's going to be for the slumlord, Damon Bunting. That's the only way. But right now, let's get to an update. The great staff out of Park Mazda with LTE.
Oilers dropped to 2-4-1 with a 3-2 overtime loss to the Hurricanes. Connor McDavid with a pair of goals in the loss. Stuart Skinner stopping 30 of 33 shots faced, as the club will get set to host the Penguins Friday. Penguins last night falling in a shootout down in Calgary, 4-3 to the Flames. Flames had points in 6 straight. Elsewhere, a 4-point night from Tomas Hertl saw Vegas snap a 3-game slide. They defeat the Kings 6-1. Jets, they improved to 6-0. They'd hang on to defeat the Blues 3-2. And the Canucks doubling up Chicago 6-3. Taylor Hall recording his 700th career point in the loss. Lakers over the Timberwolves 110-103. Anthony Davis 36 points. LeBron James' son Bronny, he had a rebound in 3 minutes of action, while James Sr. recorded 16 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists. Earlier in the evening, it was Boston routing the Knicks 132-109. 10 games around the NBA tonight, one in which we'll see the Raptors play their season opener at home to the Cavaliers. The Titans and Chiefs are working to finalize a trade that would send wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to KC. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Titans would receive a conditional 4th-rounder in the deal that is expected to be completed sometime later today. Back over to hockey. Lone game in the AJHL tonight. We'll see the second-place Whitecourt Wolverines visit the 3-8-0-1 Devon Extreme. Some sad news out of the baseball world last night, as the Dodgers get set to host Game 1 of the World Series Friday against the Yankees. Former Dodger pitcher, World Series champion, Rookie of the Year, and Cy Young Award winner Fernando Valenzuela passing away at the age of 63. Commissioner Rob Manfred saying that Fernando Mania will be honored in a ceremony during the series down at Dodger Stadium. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he also played for the Edmonton Trappers during his career.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Lynyrd Skynyrd with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk. Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.37 on the Nielson Show. Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric with you. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999. That Paris Jewelers inbox taking a bit of a pounding right now as people trying to get in the mix. We'll call a winner here in about 4 or 5 minutes for the EST Flyaway to LA. Tell your friends about the EST Flyaway to LA and how they too can get in on the fun. Nielsen Show presented to you by South Fort Chev. Drive a little, save a lot with the Daniel and his team out of South Fort Chevrolet. Macramalla coming up. Keep those Macramalla intros coming in this morning. We're going to get to free advice. What do you need help with? 780-218-9999.
The wrench in the nasty chat.
Oh, it's the wrench. He's awake and ready to go.
And at home.
EST legal analyst and guy who doesn't trust trains because they have locomotives. Jeez Louise. All right. EST legal analyst and wish.com Matlock. Eric Macramalla.
Good incorporation of Matlock. More Matlock, please.
Yeah. EST legal analyst and guy who drives 20 kilometers per hour everywhere because he grew up in the 80s action movies and believes that every car crash results in a fiery explosion. He goes
Constant state of fear.
super slow the entire way. All right, keep those Macramalla intros rolling in today. Let's get to free advice right now, though, for Damon Bunting. 780-218-9999. What do you need help with? Fantasy football advice? This would be the time. Life advice? We'd love to help you out. And remember, the best part about free advice is it doesn't cost you a thing. Bunting is somewhere in the United States right now. He texted Glue Guy and I a picture yesterday of his from his knees down with an EST hat between his feet on like a beach chair.
Well, we got to pin it. We got to put it on the map. Balinski just tweets at us as well. He's in Denver for work today. Put that on the map. So.
Who's in Denver today?
Balinski.
Balinski.
So we got to get where old
Bunting's feet.
Bunting is
in an Edmonton Sports.
Somewhere old palm trees, a tropical locale.
I got a good look at this.
That ain't Dakota.
Look how nice his foot is.
He must get petties.
Well, he wears nice shoes.
Yep.
Yeah, look at his foot. That's Bunting's foot. It's a nice foot.
That is a nice foot.
You must soak him in Epsom salts. Eh?
That, you know what? That does look like. This is a manicured foot. Those toenails are terrific. I mean, anyway.
Where do you go, Bunting?
If you want to do business and buy or sell a home with a guy who's confident enough in his feet to text him to another man,
might throw in a foot pick.
Bunting's the guy.
You get a house and some foot pictures.
He is a beauty, though. Look, if you want to do business with a good guy and he's great at his job, Damon Bunting's the guy. You're buying a home, you're selling a home, reach out to Bunting. www.damonbunting.com or in his Instagram handle of Damon Bunting Real Estate. And if you're buddies with Bunting and you're listening this morning, make sure you text him and be like, hey, I heard you're sending pictures of your feet to people. Just to see what he says. Oh, pizza's ready.
It's bubbling, boy. And we like that crisp undercarriage.
Oh,
right?
we got a crisp undercarriage. That's a good. All right, free advice. What do you need help with? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Or, of course, you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Yeah, Tommy, if you're watching, you can scroll back to about 6:20 if you want a rant of the year for the Esties. I think I had one. Dusty, would you trade A.J. Brown for George Pickens and Kenneth Walker? Ooh, intriguing. I would say if you, I like Kenneth Walker, and his involvement in the passing game has been a real feather in his cap from a fantasy football perspective. So, A.J. Brown could straight up be a stud the rest of the year. Is Pickens going to be able to continue to just catch poorly thrown balls from Russell Wilson all year? This is a tough call. I think if you are weak at running back, I'd probably pull the trigger on this. I do think if you go look at it, I heard this on a podcast a couple weeks, or like last week, I guess. George Pickens is among the most heaviest targeted receivers in the league. And if Russell Wilson can get the passing game going more than Justin Fields, Pickens could be, I'd probably do it. But just know you're giving up a stud. I mean, you're giving up a stud in A.J. Brown. That's a good question, though. I like, big trades and leagues. That's exciting to me. Hey, changing 200.
Changing 200.
This Texan says, Dusty, what's a fair return on CMC right now? Of course, that would be Christian McCaffrey. What's the fair return on Christian McCaffrey? Well, I mean, sad to say that if you drafted Christian McCaffrey, many of you are probably in a tough spot right now because you would have taken him first overall. Then you wouldn't have had to pick again until a 2-3 swing. So if you have a team that you think can contend, I'd be willing to move Christian McCaffrey at this stage for just a guy that you can start every week at running back. I mean, if you can get somebody that you can start every week, somebody's willing to offer you like a top 15 or 20 running back for Christian McCaffrey, you have to pull the trigger on that right now. 780-218-9999. Okay, boys, bit of a pickle here. I've got a similar palate to Dusty, and my new boss is taking all of our staff for sushi tonight. It grosses me out. Do I pull the Jerry Seinfeld and spit it in a napkin? Oh, I don't know. I would hate to be in your spot right now, buddy. I think you sort of just have to suck it up and eat the sushi. Or depending on the restaurant, like when I was courting my wife back in the day, she'd want, let's do sushi tonight. And I was like, okay, but I sure hope this isn't my life forever. And
someone say sushi.
But I would go to these places with her and I'd get like the teriyaki beef. And I actually very much enjoyed it. So I think become teriyaki beef guy.
Get the sushi.
Just get the sushi?
What are we, gas station or restaurant?
No, he said, I've got a similar palate to Dusty, and my new boss is taking the staff for sushi tonight. It grosses me out. So do I pull a Jerry Seinfeld and spit it in a napkin?
But you know, some of those rolls, they're served hot. They got a bunch of sauce on them. Like, it's not even like you're eating fish.
Well, what's it like you're eating then?
Just something delicious. You just got to close your eyes.
Like delicious rice?
Yeah, it'd be like wrap this up in a ball. Yeah. This delicious slice of pie from the Italian.
You're right on the olives, though. Okay, but here I got a good non-olives.
People suggesting, though, you got to keep them on. The Pizziolos know what they're doing. That's what a few people in the Paris Drulu's inbox here. That meat looks a dream, too. Hey, this, was it salami?
Good cook on this today, buddy.
I got you more of a crispy one there. I think Trev and I got medium well. And
mine's a little more crispy?
Yeah. One more piece in there is raw. Got to kind of turn it in the oven.
Oh, we gotta spin it. Makes sense.
That's okay.
All right.
Gager.
780-218-9999. If you have any advice for this sushi guy, Big Maple says first timers should always do the spicy Cali roll. Okay.
Yeah, that's a decent introduction.
Sarah says the cucumber roll minus seaweed. Is that just rice wrapped around cucumber?
Sounds like it. Seaweed salad, now you're talking.
There's a little bit of kick to this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a little bit of heat.
You know what? Out of respect to our partners at Italian Center Shop, I'm going to try a black olive. I'm going to take the bite.
Brett, put it in the phone.
Take the bite that's under the meat here.
Well, you had the rand. It should be a spicy pie for a spicy boy. Can't even taste. This is like sushi. You don't even know you're eating it.
I don't even know if I got one.
Are you an olive guy, Trev? You like no.
Pretty good.
You'll dive in though. I mean,
yeah. Like I'm not like, ugh, but if I had the option, I'd say
you're
no.
not loading it up.
Yeah.
Well, this pizza's got some kick to it.
Spicy boy. It's fitting.
So,
it's very
black
fitting.
olives are spicy? Is that their thing?
No, that's that meat.
Mm-mm. Oh, it's the meat.
Yeah, it's that meat. Yeah, that's a hot meat.
That's good meat. All right, let's talk to our qualifier today. ESC Flyway to Los Angeles. Trev, who do we have, buddy?
Mandy on the line.
Mandy. That's a weird name. That's a weird name for a guy. Mandy, congratulations.
Nope, not a guy.
I know. I love when women qualify. And Mandy, have you qualified already?
Not for this.
Not for this one.
contest.
You
no.
qualified for the last one though? I feel like your name's familiar.
For Vegas, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So who'd you bring with you on this trip, Mandy?
I'd bring my husband, Logan.
You'd bring your husband. Okay, is he also trying to get in and qualify? Or are you doing this for the both of you?
Tag team.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I like that. You got
love
twice as good a shot here. Has he already qualified?
Yeah,
Has
he
Logan
does.
qualified?
I believe he has once, yeah.
Oh, boy. You guys aren't the married couple that did the song for us, are you?
Nope.
Oh, okay,
nope.
man. That would have been pretty legendary if you were. All right, Mandy. Well, you're one step closer. Have you been to an NFL, NBA game?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well then.
Nope, that
This would be a great
awesome,
trip.
though.
Yeah, and you don't worry about being gone during the holidays?
Nope.
No.
Nope. It's all good. So much
All right.
for our kids, we're good.
All right. Well, you're one step closer. Good luck, Mandy. Tell your friends.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
All right. There you go. Mandy qualifying. Her husband, Logan, has already qualified.
That's a family effort there. Family affair, if you will.
That's a nice look. Amishman 19 said, olives, spicy. Is that what was just said?
Well, you can be forgiven.
It's me.
You didn't know.
It's me. I don't know. I don't eat olives.
You're going in cold.
I don't know if, look, I'll just.
Now you're hot.
You know what? Look at this. I'm just going to eat an olive straight up. Ooh. Never done this in my entire life. Look at this. See this little black
And
olive
it's
here?
like it's a slice of it. It's not like, it's slimy, eh?
Oh. Oh.
Lots of good olives, though, at the Italian Center shop. You can buy them in the jar. The garlic ones, very delicious. You'll have to get you a jar. Actually, that'll be a thing. We'll bring in a jar. Maybe the next sample of food, a nice jar of olives. We'll have a toothpick. And
how about now? Not gonna.
A bit of garlic.
Not gonna happen. All right, Macramalla.
Drink the juice.
Is he connected yet? We'll get to Eric Macramalla this morning. You can send your Macramalla intros in. Kind of last call, I guess, for Macramalla intros if you want to slide in. We'll get to. We're phoning him today. Okay.
This is weird.
No, I like it. It's old school. All right, so we'll talk to Macramalla coming up. Man, the meat on that pizza is delicious.
Fiery. It's
That's
fitting
really
for
good.
today. Yeah, spiced up.
Well,
Ready to
everybody's
go.
spiced up today.
Yep.
Oilers blow it against the Carolina Hurricanes. No other way around it. They had a 2-0 lead in the third, and let it slip away. RCN is in. It says olives are gross, man.
Black ones are, but the other ones are again.
So what's the difference between a black olive and a green olive?
I don't know the
taste-wise?
science behind it, but the color, one's green and they got the red insides. And then again, if you got garlic and the nice juice, like an olive juice for a hangover is just delicious. What do you call them? All of that stuff, the martini game and everything. I used to be like you. They grossed me out, the whole olive family. Now it's just the black olives I don't really care for, but
that's it.
But they're delicious. And again, the aisle at the Italian Center shop. I mean, they got olives. I mean, they got a whole aisle dedicated.
It's an olive factory.
And you got those
there.
nice jars, like those pimp, like real high class.
They do.
Yeah.
Only the finest of olives.
Yep.
At the Italian Center. Eric Macramalla, EST legal analyst, and Wish.com Matlock. Eric Macramalla, EST legal analyst, and guy who drives 20 kilometers an hour everywhere because he grew up on 80s action movies and believes that every car crash results in a fiery explosion. EST legal analyst, and guy who fake sleeps in the car on the ride home so the Uber driver has to carry him up to his bed. EST legal analyst, and guy who only buys the finest suits made from imported Persian belly button lint, Eric Macramalla. He joins us on the phone today. Macramalla, what's going on? You ugly today? What's happening?
Every day, but no, I don't have access to my computer, so I thought I used my phone, and I hit the link, and then it said you have to download the Wirecast Rendezvous app, which I did, but then it didn't allow me to still connect via your hot, amazing little link there. So there's a serious issue, with the technology for this show, and I'm very, very disappointed. And I'm so disappointed that today I will order an Uber, so that I have nowhere to go, circle the block so you can carry me to my bed. I think that may be.
That's a good one.
I told you the best one was years ago, where listener said, I loved my pizza so much I punched it. It was something like that.
Yeah.
And that's maybe, I think that was season 12, episode 4. That one is pretty close, if not better. So the Uber driver carry, that's the best. You know what? That's the new standard. That's the best one.
Okay.
Agreed?
I guess that's our text of the day, as determined by Macramalla right now.
Well,
Hey, Macramalla.
I mean, you could always say that it's not, because while I mean, I wasn't even nominated for the most, for the best guest of the year. So it's almost like I'm not even here, right? That's why my Uber driver says, no, I will not carry you upstairs. I refuse. You were not nominated in Edmonton. I'm like, son of a gun.
Eric, it's Kenny G here. Do you like olives?
I love the garlic stuffed olives, the green garlic stuff. I could bathe in that.
Yes.
But you're asking an Egyptian if he likes olives. It's like asking an Egyptian if he likes garlic.
Spirit of the experiment here. No,
we're trying to the airport. Of course not.
Trying to get Dusty on the olive train.
I tried a black olive today for the first time.
Yeah.
What?
Not really a fan. Sorry, man.
Well, hang on. You don't have to apologize. You can like and dislike whatever you'd like. My Uber driver's here. I have to go soon. So here's the thing is that you're probably 60 years old at this point. Why have you never had an olive before?
I don't know. There's a lot of foods I haven't tried because they creep me out a bit, and olives are one of them. I haven't had a green olive either. Now, as of today, I've only had black.
What do you mean olives creep you out? What are you, like 4 years old?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Really? Look, man.
Olives, what is it about the olive that creeps you out? Is it the shape?
I guess
the texture.
For the most part, it's that it's not chicken tenders and French fries.
My Uber driver brought me flowers today. That's so sweet. That's so nice.
Hey, I
can't wait.
I want to get to your tweet about Lamar Jackson. You love this guy, hey?
I do, and it's always fun dispatching those tweets because then people get very angry, and then they respond with anger. Although I think you would agree, Twitter is not quite as active as it once was, so the level of vitriol isn't as intense as it's been in the past, just by virtue of volume. But as far as Lamar Jackson, it was just watching. I feel as though he has kind of graduated to being this great NFL quarterback, and maybe the best quarterback in the NFL. Is just as a pocket passer now. He's got such presence, and he has that Michael Vick flick of the wrist that goes 40 yards on the line, right? But I think until this season, it didn't necessarily all come together. Having Derrick Henry, I think, helps. It brings balance to the attack. But there's just something watching him this year. It looks a little bit different than it did last year. Not for those who watch the Red Zone, because they're missing a lot of it, but those who watch Lamar's games in their totality, and I think I've seen every one of them, he just seems to be operating now at a different level. I know he hasn't won the playoffs. I totally get that. But I'm talking about insofar as the position of quarterback goes. To me, he looks like he's the best quarterback now in the NFL. His QBR, I think he's 2 in the league, but he's 1 or 2 in every meaningful offensive quarterback category in the league. You have, different players jockeying for 1 and 2, guys like, Josh Allen, for example. But there's no one, I think, across the board who's as dominant as Lamar Jackson. He just, if I'm picking a quarterback today to lead my team, he's the guy that I pick because he's a hell of a passer from the pocket. And we know he can run, and he can run like crazy. And he's, morphs into an incredibly effective running back, the second best running back on that team after Derrick Henry. What do you think?
Well, I was gonna say, like, I also think Lamar Jackson is incredible, and I think this year is going to be different in the playoffs because of Derrick Henry. And how much do you think the presence of Derrick Henry? He's on pace to set the all-time rushing record at over 2,100 yards. How much do you think that makes things even easier for Lamar this year?
Yeah, I mean, he had a really big run last game, or 2 of them, but in the first quarter wasn't on the field very much.
Yeah, he only had 12 snaps in the first half.
Yeah, Harbaugh made it clear in a press at the beginning of the season that he's not going to be used like he was in Tennessee, and we've seen that. We've seen that he's not on the field all the time. So it would be a surprise if he had the rushing record, but what allows him to find those gaps, to find those seams, is that offense is so well balanced with so many different weapons. So, but I think having Derrick Henry makes Lamar Jackson better at everything, because Derrick Henry is someone you have to contain. You got to play an extra man in the box, and then you've got your corners. It's 1-on-1. So you looked at Bateman's touchdown, where he went, I don't know, was it 60 yards or so? That was 1-on-1 coverage, and these guys they don't have the opportunity to be doubled in different parts of the game, only because you have to account for the run.
$4.3 million for Otani's 50th home run ball. Where are you going to put it? At the office or at home?
Is that how much it went for?
It went for
US?
It went for $4.3 million, man.
US, so that's $27 billion Canadian. Wow,
yeah.
That's a lot of money for a ball. I wonder who bought it. We think it was his old translator who bought it?
Probably. He had $2 million on Otani hitting 50, so he actually ended up having the money to just purchase the ball. Brilliant move.
It is, and the guy. Remember, there was a guy who almost caught it. Right, there was a guy in the first row.
Yes, that's right.
He extended his hand, and he missed it by a couple of inches. And he didn't really leverage his body in the right way. He didn't lean over the railing in a slightly dangerous way, but still safe to catch the ball. I mean, imagine if his life would have changed had he caught that ball. Now he's the guy who didn't catch it. He's a low-energy loser like Jeb Bush. You got to feel bad for the guy with a $5 million payday. What a loser. So that's the guy that I want to focus on. It's in life. It's just guys like him. Let's call him Harry. Harry is just a loser.
Eric Macramalla with us on the show this morning. One more place I want to go before we let you go, and that would be, what would it be like for you to be, working on a case in a courtroom with your son as co-counsel in like 15 years, LeBron Bronny style?
Oh my gosh. Well, if that's the analogy, then my son will not have gone to law school, but still be my co-counsel. And he wouldn't know what to do in any situation at all. But I would preach patience as he tries to pronounce polysyllabic words, right?
Wow.
But it would be nice. He was on my radio show years ago, and he did a very good job when he was 5 years old. And but it would be nice to play with him, but or to work with him. But I don't see it happening. My kids, this is a non-literate society. Kids there's no need for these kids to know how to read. And my kids are no exception. We try and get them to read, but they're two boys that all they want to do is beat the crap out of each other and then throw baseballs against the side of the house. That's pretty much my entire life. And it's a baseball. I'm like, use a tennis ball. Like, no, we're using a baseball. Why don't you go to hell, Dad? It's amazing how things have changed, right? If I did that to my father, I would be dead. Literally, I would be dead. He would kill me. He would kill me.
As always, buddy, we appreciate it, even on the phone.
My Uber driver is brushing his hair now. He's parting his hair. It looks. Oh, he's looking really, guys. This is gonna be a great Uber. I'm thinking 5 stars. Take care. I love you more than my Uber driver.
We love you too. It's funny about boys and reading, because last night after supper, I was watching. It was before the Oilers game started. I was watching the Celtics pump the Knicks, and Tammy's like, "We got about 10 minutes until bath time. If you want to do something before we head upstairs." And I think she was talking like me and Marshall in the mud. So I was just like, oh, cool. What can we do?
Final countdown.
Anyway, Elizabeth got out a book and just started reading a book. And Marshall went and got his Fisher-Price basketball hoop and started shooting hoops because the game was on.
Little hooping.
And I just was kind of like summarize. I look down at Lizzie. She's like reading this Pete the Cat book, and she's crushing it. And Marshall's like running in and dunking on a hoop that comes up to his chest and then doing like the LeBron. And I was like, oh, these are my kids.
You kind of call it your 10 minutes of truth. Like that's your...
It's be who you want to be.
That's it. You're going to go to where you go.
Be who you want to be.
I also like Macramalla and Son for a law firm. Hey, how could you resist?
God.
If you're looking... Macramalla and Son.
I would 100% use Macramalla and Son. I think that would be great. All right, inbox. We'll try to get to a few more of your text messages. We continue to work our way through the show. Scott from Wainwright is in and says, guys, I was driving my daughter to hockey practice in Lloyd this morning at 6 a.m. We listened to the first hour, both of us, and we both agree that was the best first hour EST has ever had. You boys are fire.
Wow.
Rant of the year for sure. I think I did the whole Will Ferrell and old school blackout thing during the rant. I'm not even sure what I said.
The steam was real. It was not digitally enhanced.
Well, I mean, chanting Skinner sucks on the LRT after the game last night, still one of the stupidest things I could ever think of when you were just at the hockey game and watched him stand on his head for most of the night.
And you were sheltering Nurse.
Oh, of course. We're always protecting Darnell Nurse. Nobody ever says a bad thing about Darnell Nurse.
When I think of you, I think of,
please,
eye
roll.
The doctor to the nurse. You've carried him through. When you only saw one set of footprints in the sand, it was when you were carrying him.
Not me. All right, let's get to, we got lots to get to in hour number 3. Jam-packed hour, actually. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power coming up. Wyshynski, see how he's doing. Tough day to be sick.
Little banged up.
Games.
Frozen frenzy, yeah.
Anyway, just after 8:30 today, Wyshynski will join us. That hurts for the heavy hitters of injury law. Trent and the crew over at James H. Brown. We'll get to 3 questions too many. And, of course, we got to get to kind of easy trivia today. True redemption story coming down the pipe here after a Teef absolutely blew it yesterday. He texted me.
He's been pretty quiet this morning, hey? I haven't seen him. Oh, he's so...
Teef... a
little embarrassed.
Smart move.
Oh, yeah.
Let things cool down a bit.
Oilers taking the heat off his performance.
I wouldn't show my face here today either.
No.
Anyway, if you want to play kind of easy trivia this morning, let's do it. 780-218-9999. We've got a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's. Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. If you'd like to win that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's, just text us right now, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Trev will pick one of you. You will play kind of easy trivia. That'll kick off hour number 3 right here on the Nielson Show. Hangout coming up from 9 to 11 today. The Lock Shop and the Oil Stream from Kingsway Boston Pizza today, 11 to 12 and 12 to 1. EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. And coming up later on, the Reed Wilkins Show. And the boys will have a lot to discuss there, Reed Wilkins and the glue guy, Jay Milne, every single day from 3 to 6 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Let's get to an update right now for Claiborne Services. If you're looking for work, ta-da! We've got a job for you with our partners over at Claiborne. ClaiborneServices.com. They're always hiring. Whether you want to start a new career, make a quick buck on a job or two, Claiborne can help you out with that. Let's get to an update with LT.
Oilers opening up a 2-game homestand with an overtime loss to the Hurricanes. 3-2 your final last night. Connor McDavid with a pair of goals, one of which with the man advantage, while Stuart Skinner stopped 30 of 33 shots faced. The 2-4-1 Oilers will get set to host Pittsburgh on Friday. Penguins also in action last night. They'd fall in a shootout down in Calgary, 4-3 to the Flames. Flames have points in 6 straight. Elsewhere, JT Miller with a goal and 2 helpers. Canucks double up Chicago 6-3. The Jets remain undefeated, improving to 6-0 with a 3-2 win over the Blues. And the Golden Knights snapping a 3-game slide. They defeat the Kings 6-1. LA Lakers over the Minnesota Timberwolves 110-103. LeBron James' son Bronny had a rebound in just 3 minutes of action, while LeBron James Sr., 16 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists. Earlier in the evening was the Celtics routing the Knicks 132-109. 10 games around the association tonight, one of which will see the Raptors play their home opener against the Cleveland Cavaliers. A trade in the works in the NFL. Titans and Chiefs working to finalize a deal that would send wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to Kansas City. This courtesy ESPN's Adam Schefter. Titans would receive a conditional 4th rounder. The deal expected to be completed sometime later today. Back over at a hockey battle of the AJHL's North Division tonight. The lone game on the schedule. It'll be the 8-3-0-1 Whitecourt Wolverines visiting the 3-8-0-1 Devon Extreme. In sad news last night out of the baseball world, Cy Young Award winner, Rookie of the Year, World Series champion, former Dodgers pitcher Fernando Valenzuela passing away at the age of 63. The death comes as the Dodgers prepare to host Game 1 of the World Series Friday against the Yankees. Commissioner Rob Manfred saying Fernando Mania will be honored in a ceremony during the series at Dodger Stadium. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. For more, you can check out www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy. Call Jeff, 780-910-6728. Plates.
nights after listening to the lock shop. 6 hours a day to 12 after only 1 year. They're like a pit stop house machine, shifting into top gear. Tacticum, Rapticum, and YouTube Trev. In a short drive with wheels out to Southport Trev. Weekly afternoon just got a little bit more sweet. Ernest salad brings the heat while Gager reads the jerky meat. For everything Oilers, tune into the oil stream. And if that ain't enough, don't miss 2 guys and a walkie. If you're looking for insiders, tune in for Darren Dreger. If it's the NFL you're into, check out the coach, Herman Edwards. EST Hangout with Tommy and Maddie. Adding judgment to them makes the shows more classy and chatty. Even Reed Wilkins joined the EST crew. With Jamie riding shotgun and providing the glue. Orange and blue and green and gold, free and Postgame. Listening to our teams, they never gonna be the same. EST rules E-Town with guys who got the right stuff. Folks like James H. Brown and a Robin Williams Huff. With sponsors writing tracks like A&W and Damon Bunting like Max Damon and Ben Affleck. EST's always big just hunting. EST and suffering from a sophomore slump. But if you're so inclined, they say the booty booze bump. The Italian Santa.
Oh, Jaunty in Victoria. I'll give you that whole thing at some point. It's 3 minutes, so we got to keep moving. The third hour is going to fly by this morning. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox. If you were listening on TuneIn or iHeart this morning, that is where you can chime in. The Oilers let one slip away last night against the Carolina Hurricanes. Your thoughts on it, of course, into the nasty chat as well. And if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. That'd be great. Sub to the channel. Almost to that 10.5K mark for subs. So smash the thumbs up. Jam-packed third hour. We do have Greg Wyshynski just after 8:30 today. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. We'll get to 3 questions too many. That hurts is on the way as well. I might be a little ranty during that hurts today too. We might come back around to some thoughts on.
You got to bookend it. You started the show and you kind of
bad takes.
Wrap it up.
Somebody's saying, can we get the rant for sound? I think my rant must have been 5-6 minutes. We can't just go back and play the entire thing. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can scroll back around 6:20 today. This guy pushed me over the edge. You were. What? You were.
Churn,
you know
baby, churn.
Yeah. Yeah, you knew what was up.
You knew the Fresh Prince episode.
You knew what was up.
Yeah, it's a living.
It's a living. All right. Who's playing kind of easy trivia today? Who do we got?
Today, Andrew is going to give it a go.
All right, Andrew's going to play kind of easy trivia today. You're looking to get his hands on a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's, where you are invited to Mr. Mike's Fiesta Fusion. Celebrate the flavors of their new Mexican and Spanish-inspired features like patatas bravas, the Fusion Feast Platter, chili lime ribeye. That sounds real nice. Feature drinks and more. Plus, $1 from every feature entree sold will help nourish a hungry child through the local breakfast program in this community, which is awesome. So join the Fiesta Fusion at your local Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casually. Sorry, Trev. Who do we have again?
Andrew.
All right, Andrew's going to play today. Andrew, do you want short ticker or long ticker?
Long ticker.
Long ticker. Smart man. Smart man. That was almost like stupid question, boy. All right, Trev, you got the ticker. Here we go. Trev will start it after I read the first question. Good luck, Andrew. Did the Oilers win last night?
No.
Which player scored both goals for the Oilers?
Connor McDavid.
What position does Freddie Anderson play?
Goalie.
Which NBA player played a game with his son last night?
LeBron James.
Who is the all-time leading scorer in NBA history?
The King, LeBron James.
Oh, my man.
Wow.
You gotta love it.
No! My God.
6 out of 5.
Damn it, Shake, stop it!
They are going to remember that AM radio is a viable and modern source for news and entertainment.
Totally.
People don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV.
That's stupid.
It sure is, Kevin.
I'm stoked. You stoked?
I'm stoked.
Just
I'm
so stoked.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Andrew comes in and just knocks it out of the park.
I think you'll take him to Mr. Mike's for crying out loud.
I mean, I probably would.
You'll eat an olive in front of his face.
Who is the all-time leading scorer in NBA history? LeBron James, the King.
His words,
Crowd
not
him.
yours. Yeah.
Crowd him. That was that was nice to see, wasn't it? That was really nice. I'm not kidding. I'm not going down that path.
It doesn't hurt.
I'm not going to go down that. We're not. Nobody wants me to talk basketball right now, so we don't need to discuss that whole conversation.
Well, we have swimming to get to as well with Marshall. I mean,
the
Barracuda's back in the drink.
Yeah, the
tonight.
Marshman will be swimming tonight. You say the Barracuda's back in the drink? Child prodigy's here.
That's what you yell as you enter into the Civic
Prodigy's
Center.
here.
Prodigy.
Careful, the Barracuda's in the house.
Cue up to the left.
That's gonna be good. Tango's in it, says, who cares about LeBron James besides Dusty? Oh, here we go. Oh, and look at Kyle says Andrew was a coward. He took the long ticker. Hey, a win is a win.
He didn't sound heavily confident in his tone, but I mean, it's a game plan.
What would you rather
he got
do?
the option. What
would you rather do? Play a wild and crazy third period and lose in overtime, or shut it down and win 2-0?
Russian roulette with 5 bullets or 1.
LeBron James also last night became the all-time leader in missed field goals, passing Kobe Bryant, who had been leading the all-time leader in missed
in
field
LA
goals.
nonetheless. Hey?
You know, like the legacy just continues to grow. Nobody now has missed more field goals in the history of the game than LeBron James, which is pretty damn impressive as well.
Strummy making no friends. LeBron is softer than people that complain about the wave.
Oh my goodness.
So 2 fronts there.
So now people
complaining
say,
about the wave is soft. Yeah.
People are gonna say now, oh, well, LeBron, look, missed so many shots. He's a joke. Can never be the GOAT when you miss so many shots. Can I just point something out?
Yes.
This is the average amount of missed field goals per season. Okay? The average amount of missed field goals per season in their careers. LeBron, 689. Kobe, 724. Michael Jordan, on average, would miss 823 shots a year. You're going to have more points per game because you shoot more than everybody.
And the competition back then.
And you're going to miss
was
more
much
because you shoot everybody.
I mean,
well,
let's be honest.
Look, if you have to be guarded by Mark Price all
if you're
the time,
playing against part-time mechanics,
of course you're gonna miss well over 800 shots a year. The one year he missed over 1,000. But let's move along.
Sure.
Let's get into
if you want.
No, I do. We got that Hurts coming up. We'll go back around there. But let's get into 3 questions too many today. Lieutenant Eric, you have a liner for the segment.
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where if he had a son, he'd get a job at his dealership. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Is Mitch?
Mitch has kids.
Yeah. Does he have a son? I'm just saying
Good
this
question.
off the top of my head.
Good question.
If he does have a son, best be assured that he'll be getting a job. He probably already got a job, but you work your way up. You don't get an office right off the bat, right? You start in the wash bay or whatever.
That's what.
No nepo babies there.
No,
Like you
nepo
gotta earn
babies
your
there.
keep, yeah.
Tube Socks makes a great point. Are LeBron and Bronny now the highest scoring father-son duo in Lakers history? Actually, in NBA history, highest scoring father-son duo. It's a Wayne Gretzky and his brother stat.
Well, and again, as you brought up yesterday too, the Griffey's in the house. Like
Yeah.
it was just
it was a
star-studded affair.
It was a magical
Yeah,
moment.
it was
The greatest of all time produces NBA spawn.
Yep.
Unbelievable. All right. Do you have a Twitter account, Rick?
I do. It's at Lieutenant_Eric, and more importantly, the Edmonton Sports Talk account, which forgot to kind of bring up. We have eclipsed that 5,800 mark. 5,801 followers. Let's get it up to 6K. At YEG Sports Talk. Anything and everything up there. All the details, including the EST Flyaway to LA. If you missed any of the details, they're up there pinned to the top. And follow the account because then you'll know when the boys are on for pre- and post-game. GCL Diesel. I mean, that's what's going on.
It keeps you up to date.
Keeps you up to date. So
keeps you up to date on everything you want to give it a follow. Give YouTube Trev a follow as well.
Yep.
YouTube_Trev, I think.
New logo.
Yeah, I got the new logo for his channel, Above Average. So you got that going for you as well.
Looks good. Yep, give me a follow. I
Looks real
appreciate
nice.
that. 1,100 and counting. Who's counting these days? I don't know.
This guy's over 1,100 already.
Glue guy is.
Oh, my goodness.
The glue guy for sure. He wakes up.
The race to
And goes to bed.
2,000 is on.
It is.
I like this one. Paul is in and says, wow, most missed shots and total points. Sounds like a ball hog. Yeah. Ball hog who's also 4th all-time in assists in the association. Question number 1. Guys, I see fans ripping on pretty much everyone with this Oilers start. Who do you guys think should be taking the most heat for this start right now?
And that's a different question than the whipping boy one.
I think
right?
so. Yeah, I think so.
Well, no. Well, you look to leadership.
Careful what you say next.
I know. And there are a lot of leadership comes in many forms. So I think there's different ranks of leadership. Some people wear a C, some wear an A. Some aren't even on the ice.
Well, like, I was thinking about this morning because I think
it's management.
My answer to this question was going to be Jeff Jackson. I mean, you had a team last year that came very close to winning the Stanley Cup, and you gave it a pretty significant overhaul by design and partially by screwing yourself over by not managing assets properly.
And the areas we are currently discussing are those.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we're populated by those
this
players.
Just in. Breaking news. Broberg would be better than any other option they have to play with Darnell Nurse, and it's not even remotely a conversation. If you handle that as a priority as opposed to just leaving it on the back burner because you thought you were going to squeeze him and nobody's going to slide in and take him away from you, he'd still be here. So there's that part of it. But then I also look at the team that they have, the roster that they have, and it's a good roster. McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nuge, Arvidsson, Skinner, Bouchard. This is a team that's averaging 2 goals per game. How do you hang that on Jackson? These guys are paid a ton of money to score goals.
But we know they don't start
they're
early.
capable
We
of
know
it.
that it's
and
now
they
it's
will
expected
start
to-
scoring goals, though. They will. So at that point, are we still going to look when they're scoring a ton of goals and they're winning games this year, which will happen? I know everybody's all down in the dumps right now, but this is going to happen. They're going to start scoring goals at their regular pace. I'd be stunned if they don't. Then at that point, who are you looking at that should be taking the heat? And if the defense is still an issue, well, then you have to look at Jeff Jackson. I mean,
If the question was directed just as players, I wouldn't. Jackson's getting a lot of mentions in the nasty chat, though. Todd Gack, Jackson went shopping with a credit card, then the Blues stripped our depth. Calvian Bomber says Jeff Jackson. Tango says Jackson should be taking the heat. DEL said JJ had some fun playing GM. Todd Gack likes his glasses. Somebody mentioned Ken Holland.
Enough.
You want to?
Well, I mean, yes, Ken Holland did the Darnell Nurse contract. I get it. It sucks. He also brought in Zach Hyman. He also brought in Matias Ekholm. And they also were 1 game away from winning the Stanley Cup with a roster that Ken Holland put together. Then they didn't win the Stanley Cup. They decide to make pretty significant changes to everybody but the core. And those don't appear to be working just yet. So, I don't know, man. Hanging this on Ken Holland? Not here. I don't think. No, not here. Question number 2. Guys, who is the next athlete that you think could still be top 10 in the league and play with his kid in a game? Who could possibly do this next?
I don't, knowing family dynamics, like I'm just kind of, this is a bit of a thinker. Kind of, I don't want to sit on this one for a bit.
This is why it's so rare. I don't even think we can come up with who the next person might be. Like, Bedard would have to have a baby now. You know what I mean? Like, it's too late for McDavid. What's he going to be, 43 years old?
How old is Nathan Rourke's dad? Maybe we go the opposite
The
route.
opposite way. You bring in a father. The opposite way.
A grizzled old vet, knows the kid well, back him up?
It's a fun question. I'm trying to think.
I can't on the spot. That's a toughie.
You got to
I don't
have
know who
kids when you're like 20 years old.
That's just it, too.
To
yeah.
make this work. And that just does, like, people aren't banging out kids at 20 anymore.
Corey Perry's
Especially
got a boy,
athletes.
took him to wrestling. Corey Perry.
I'm not
He's
sure.
he's still in the prime of his career. I'm sure he's got a few years ahead of him.
I'm not sure we see this again. You know who it'll probably be next with? LeBron and his next son, Bryce.
Good answer.
Bryce is a better player than Bronny.
Good answer.
So the next time we see this will probably be LeBron with Bryce in 3 years.
Just think, we get to do this all over again. You get to have another magical evening.
We'll still be sitting here talking about the Oilers' blue line. That'll be tough. That will be tough. 780-218-9999 is where you can.
Maybe there's no answer, hey? Somebody said Messi. You can get away with playing a long time in MLS as a guy like Messi. And if you have a kid, who's to say you could make an MLS roster at this point, the way they're handing out franchises.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you think this is a coincidence? Let's make this the third question today. Is this a coincidence? You guys can answer the question for me, because I just got an email from our radio partner,
Nathan,
who streams it. No, this is from the company itself. This so the last thing I sent to them today was, if this doesn't get sorted out, we're switching providers, because the tune in and iHeart issues. Yes, you can listen to the station, but it's admittedly been frustrating for like the last 3 weeks. They just sent me an email saying, save 50% off your second station for life.
This is the algorithm. This is the
This is weird.
They know.
This is tell me that this is this me threatening to take our business somewhere else, and then them immediately responding with an email that's like, we'll give you a second station, 50% off. You're like, I want to spend more money with you? Are you nuts? So, yeah, question number 3, to say it for a second time today. How about now? There's no chance. There's no chance I'll be starting a second station with you at 50% off.
They're trying to get you in here. It's like me and my issues with Dazen yesterday trying to watch Champions League.
Yeah, what was that
Holy
about,
hell.
eh?
Well, and you get an email, a couple of days before, hey, your subscription is set to be renewed next month, and we're jacking up the price.
Cool.
And now the service is crappier than it's ever been.
The jacking up of the prices on all these streaming things are ridiculous.
But jacking up the price and then to have worse service. And I've tweeted them, I've Instagrammed them, I've Facebooked them, I've threaded them, I've gotten on them nobody's replied. Because why would they? No phone number to phone. Nobody cares.
No, you can't track them down.
But the second I don't give them the money,
oh God. You know what?
I get people ringing my doorbell probably.
3 questions too many today. You know what this sounds like, boys? This sounds like we got to get into That Hurts. We got so many things that everybody's heard about today. That Hurts. Brought to you. I had this is good. Trent was on Reed and Jay's show, the Reed Wilkins show, a couple days ago, and said that he's going to give away some tickets to the Oilers and Penguins. Sid the Kid in the house, maybe for the last time.
Yep.
And the boys, Reed and Jay on the Reed Wilkins show, are going to give you a chance to go to that game, courtesy one of our new partners, Trent and the crew over at James H. Brown. The heavy hitters of injury law, brought to you by, of course, James H. Brown. If you've been injured in an accident, go to jameshbrown.com. It's That Hurts. You're hurt by DAZN right now.
It's terrible. It's just no consumer power, no pull.
Well, that's true.
But not only no pull, not only no response from customer service or anybody resembling a human, then to get the email saying, hey, welcome back, just blindly assuming you're going to something, and we're going to charge you more money.
I mean, that hurts. Let me say that hurts. Rip City Step in the chat says, guys, got the wrong country message for the first time ever this morning. This is the issue. So these guys, I think this is where my initial rant started earlier today. This rant is not going to move over into an Oilers fans chanting Skinner sucks last night rant on a train after the game, because that's just stupid. This rant comes from this online radio company we're working with, where like they've been saying, well, we're not sure. We think you might have to reach out to TuneIn or iHeart. I'm like, no, it's also happening on our web player at edmontonsportstalk.com, which has nothing to do with TuneIn or iHeart. And they said, well, the Listen Live link that we provide you guys works all the time. So Wannick and I are in his office yesterday talking about what the heck we're going to do with this, looking at some other options. And then I said, well, I'm just going to keep trying out this Listen Live link because, maybe it is something else going on. Maybe it's not them. So on inside their website, like in their back end, I went and clicked on the Listen Live link, and an error popped up in the web browser that said you cannot access this S4 server thing. And I thought, well, boom, there it is. Like this 100% shows the link that they're giving us to send out to these people is faulty. And they're still just like, well, you send us your IP. I don't know, like enough already. If you provide a service, what'd you say about consumer power or whatever?
There's none of it.
There's none
You
of
got
it.
nothing.
Where do we ever have consumer power in our lives anymore?
You worked in the grocery store. When I worked there, the customer would come in. Hey, I got a thing with this. You'd have, oh, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Bend over backwards for customers.
You had to do it. Or else, I mean, your job's literally on the line. Or you get secret shopped and get a bad score. Do they even do secret shopping now? Secret calling?
At the odd time, I think there'll be a secret shopper somewhere. Or at least a hidden security
I'd
guard.
love to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Security still watches me.
They do, of course.
It's
Your long
terrible.
hair and stuff.
It's
like,
terrible. And that's
always-
another thing. Discrimination.
You're a scofflaw.
Well, yeah. Paying full price everywhere I go. She wouldn't even take my... I tried paying for... I got... This thing today, I had a 50.
You're rolling around $50 bills. Amazing.
I take it out at the window. She goes, do you have any smaller bills? And I was like, well, no, this is money.
Yeah.
And then she notices the slightest tear on it. She goes, oh, but we don't accept torn money. And I go, is that right? I said, what if it was a smaller denomination? No answer.
So how'd you pay?
Use my card.
Oh, imagine a business nowadays being like, no, we can't do anything with that $50.
But then to cowardly say that it's because it's ripped. No, it's not. You couldn't make change. And why can't you make change for a 50? I'm I do have beef.
Well, this isn't beef. This is that hurts. And you're hurt by
Proactive
it.
beef.
Looks like we got beefs for tomorrow, don't we, boys? So what I want, so
My pitch is heightening.
my original
shrieking.
that hurts today was going to be, it hurts to be the other starting goaltender in that you can have your best game of the season and fans are still on our postgame show after blaming you for the loss, and fans are still on an LRT last night after the game chanting Skinner sucks. I think it makes the entire market look stupid when those things happen. Because we're supposed to be like this highly intelligent hockey fan in Edmonton, and I don't know how you could watch the game last night and go, man, you know what the problem is with this team? Stuart Skinner, who was left hung out to dry multiple times last night, stopped a bloody breakaway 5 minutes into the hockey game.
Yes.
It's just it hurts. It hurts to be the number one goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers. No matter how bad or how good you are, you cannot please anybody.
Talk to Devin Dubnyk.
That hurts. Okay, here's the other thing that hurts today, though. We got to come back around to it. If you missed it in the 6 o'clock hour today, YouTube Trev got benched by his team in Edmonton Sport and Social Club co-ed basketball last night after putting up, 12 points in the first half? 13 points in the first half. He'd set the over-under with Zach here at the office yesterday because everything we do around here involves betting. But he set the over-under at 6.5. 6.5. This guy drops 13 in the first half, can't even get on the court in the second half. I don't know how anything today could hurt as much as you're hurting today.
Because
Trev.
of the losers who wanted to finish what they started? Was that the quote?
They blew the
they're
lead.
like,
what a quote.
No, we got to fix this. It's like, well, you're not fixing it. Put us in, and we're gonna do some damage. 'Cause that's all we did.
You were the wrecking crew.
Yes, like absolutely. It was very frustrating, man. And I feel like I'm pretty competitive. I don't like losing. And
Good for you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And like we lost, and I couldn't help the team, and I feel like I could have. I'm a team player, and even when we were hot, like I was doing so good, but I'm like, nope. We gotta bring everyone in this, and because I'm also a team player. I'm competitive, but I'm a team player. But the fact that I had to sit on the bench and just watch my team just lose the 18-point lead that we had, and they were like, "No, we got to fix this." It's like you're not gonna fix it.
I've never heard anybody in sport be like, "Hey, we've sucked so bad, you got to leave us in."
They sound like Nathan and Kasim.
I know.
Yeah, well,
that's pretty much what this is.
These are probably the guys that work for that radio company.
Yeah, it was. I was pretty mad, man, and like I always show good sportsmanship.
Have you not been on the team with these guys?
And
for
that's
years?
the thing. I'm the
Like,
oldest. I'm the oldest one on the team.
You're the veteran leader.
I'm the vet.
Oh,
I'm the vet. And they're just like,
Are these
nope.
all your friends, or you get randomly placed with these guys?
No,
Like-
I know of.
Okay,
like,
you know them.
yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of us that have kept together for the last 2 years. But then, we always get like there's some turnover every season.
You should
and
request a trade, though.
I
You should
think I
hand
might
in a
have to.
transfer request.
Well, and And like I think that's why it's annoying because I don't know the next time I'm going to play basketball because this is my last season.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Let Wyshynski in. We're going to get to Greg Wyshynski. This is turning into the worst farewell season of all time.
Terrible show.
Not happy, man.
I feel real bad for you, Trev.
Losing dodgeball.
Yeah, I know.
That hurt. Basketball. I'm a bench warmer. I'm not a bench warmer, man. I'm not a bench warmer. I need to be out there, bro. You know? And it sucks.
Okay, so here's a fun game. As far as Trev goes in basketball, let's give him like the name of a famous guy who came off the bench all the time in the NBA. Like, who is an all-time bench warmer that has a name that we'd be somewhat familiar with? That's what we'll call you for a little bit when it comes to basketball. Let's try to think of that. I'm not talking like the sixth man. I'm talking like somebody that would come in and barely play, but we somewhat know the name. Like even Matty Dellavedova started for a while for the Cavs. Yeah, we'll get somebody. 780-218-9999. I know most people are probably like, enough basketball talk. This is his life. We're talking about his life. All right, let's get to a sports update right now for Sit and Sleep. If you're looking for a place to sit and or sleep, well, then do we have the store for you? Sit and Sleep. South Edmonton Common. Eric's got more on that. Greg Wyshynski on the other side. We'll break down all 16 hockey games. He's going to be with us for an hour and a half. That's coming up next.
Sebastian Aho scoring in overtime as the Oilers blew a 2-0 lead, falling 3-2 to the Hurricanes down at Ice District. Connor McDavid had a pair of goals in the loss. The 2-4-1 Oilers will get set to host Pittsburgh on Friday. Penguins last night falling in a shootout down in Calgary 4-3. The Flames have points in 6 straight. Vegas snapping a 3-game slide, 6-1 winners over the Kings. Vancouver winning on the road, doubling up Chicago 6-3. And the Jets, they improved to 6-0. Hanging on to defeat the Blues by a score of 3-2. Toronto Raptors play their season and home opener tonight against the Cavaliers. It's one of 10 games around the NBA this evening. Tip-off to the regular season last night with a pair. Celtics routing the Knicks 132-109, while LeBron James played with his son, Bronny. They combined for 16 points in a 110-103 win over Minnesota. The Titans and Chiefs are working to finalize a deal that would send wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to Kansas City. Titans would receive a conditional 4th rounder in the trade. It's expected to be completed later on sometime today. Back over to hockey, where action resumes in the AJHL tonight. Just the one game, a battle of the North Division. The second-place Whitecourt Wolverines will face off on the road against basement dwellers Devon Extreme. Cy Young Award winner, Rookie of the Year, and World Series champion, former Dodgers pitcher Fernando Valenzuela, passing away last night at the age of 63. This comes ahead of Game 1 of the World Series set to go Friday in LA between the Dodgers and Yankees. Commissioner Rob Manfred speaking, saying Fernando Mania will be honored at a ceremony during the series from Dodger Stadium. The wait is over. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payment for 18 months interest-free and be entered to win your purchase up to $5,000 on furniture and home decor next to Planet Fitness, South Edmonton Common.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
8:34 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here. Morning after, the Oilers let one slip away against the Carolina Hurricanes, leading 2-0 going into the third, losing 3-2 in overtime. Highly entertaining hockey game. Could have been a bunch more goals in that game, but both Freddie Anderson and Stuart Skinner were absolutely outstanding last night. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power still to come.
Bogdan Bogdanovic.
No, I like Tony Snell.
Okay, yeah.
EST's Tony Snell. YouTube Trev. That's a good one as well. All right, you can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox. Coming at you this morning from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Lots of good text messages today. One of them will be singled out as the A&W text of the day. Right now, what did you say? Wyshynski was playing hurt?
Well, I saw you had a tweet last night drinking ginger ale. I'm very interested on the brand, whether he's a Schweppes or a Canada Dry guy. And some
do they have
saltines.
Canada Dry in the United States?
I don't know anymore. But he made an interesting point. The salted cracker and the ginger ale. It's a pretty delicious pairing. Why can't you just enjoy it when you're sick? Why can't it be a regular? Hey, you're having friends over. Break out the ginger ale and
to be honest
crackers.
with you, I think it's a healthy snack.
You would.
Let's go to Greg Wyshynski this morning. Wyshynski, what was it? Are you feeling okay? Let's start there.
I'm in the third stage of stomach flu, which is now trying to regulate my temperature back to normal, I believe. I've already gone through complete exhaustion and the inability to have a functioning digestive system. I think I picked it up at Comic-Con over the weekend, as one does.
Classic. Yeah.
So it's whatever. But yeah, no, we have Canada Dry here in the States. Yeah. I think I'm more of a Schweppes man, if I remember what I've purchased.
Schweppes. But yeah.
I'm on the couch last night. I'm eating saltines, the little crackers. It occurred to me that we only eat saltines when we're sick here in the US. And I'm eating them. I'm just like, these are wonderful. Why don't we have these more often? My wife reaches over and she eats one, and that became like a snack for her at like 11 o'clock at night is these little crackers. I'm like, as a society, we need to move past sick food and accept that some food should be eaten in all times. Yeah.
All the time. I think literally the only time we ever have chicken noodle soup in our house is when somebody's sick.
But it's a great soup.
It's
great.
I had that yesterday myself. Exactly. Chicken noodle soup, saltines, and ginger ale. And sitting down and watching The Price is Right on television. Like
when one of my kids gets sick, I'm like, yes, chicken noodle soup night. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait.
I felt like it was a real throwback week. I'm rarely like sick to the point where I can't work. And it definitely felt like I was back in 5th grade, only this time I was actually sick and not faking it, which is usually the case when I was in 5th grade.
So Price is Right is still good? Is that what you're saying? It's
oh, hell yeah. Especially if you're like stuck on the couch under like 3 blankets, man. That's give yourself a pricing game and some chicken noodle soup and you're good to go.
And I have not had a good sick/game show morning in years.
It'll take you back.
God, I can't
wait. Listen, there is a downside to it, which is that you have to leave the couch every 10 minutes or so, but for the most part, it's delightful.
You look great. I mean,
you wouldn't even tell.
I didn't see the tweet. You
wouldn't even tell.
You're glowing.
Hey, who was the headliner at Comic-Con?
Oh no! There wasn't really a headliner per se, but it was. Okay. I try to go every year. I go on a media pass to do some interviews and get some coverage of stuff. It's just great. I mean,
but there was like no big autograph guy or like a meet and greet guy or anything?
No, I mean, they did some panels on the new DC stuff that James Gunn is doing, and there was like a Marvel panel and stuff. I don't know. I always like to go and find out what the new geek thing is, the new geek obsession is. Like obviously, like a few years back, it was Stranger Things, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are hip to the Fallout show on Amazon.
Yes, amazing. I love Walton Goggins. He's one of my all-time favorites.
That show is dope. And like that was definitely one where you saw a lot of people cosplaying and a lot of places selling more Fallout stuff than I'd seen before. But
was there a penguin buzz? Was there a buzz for the penguin?
There was not a buzz for the penguin, which is sad because that show rocks.
It's a great show. Great show.
But yeah, no, it's a fun time. I highly recommend going to a Comic-Con if you don't mind huge crowds and B are prepared for the inevitable debilitating disease you'll get from somebody at this past
there. This is you want to get it.
I gotta go to a comic show and then I'll get my 3 days off. All right, so 16 games in the National Hockey League yesterday. Obviously, we have to start here with the Edmonton-Carolina game. The Oilers were up 2-0. Carolina comes back. They win it. A little bit of a rant earlier myself this morning because there was like our post-game show last night. Like people, I don't even know if they watched the game. They just like to pop in and blame Skinner. Stuart Skinner was unbelievable last night. There was an LRT train leaving the game last night. People were chanting Skinner sucks. Guy stood on his head last night for them. So we're in a spot here in Edmonton right now where Craig Button was on this morning ripping the blue line and how they're not going to fix that. The fans last night still were all over Stuart Skinner, even though it was his best game of the season. And then overall, the team that should be one of the highest scoring teams in the league is averaging 2 goals per game, 7 games in. So I guess we're checking off all the boxes right now, Greg.
Well, and to me, that the last stat is the most salient one, which is that they haven't gotten their complete offense into high gear yet. Obviously guys like Hyman have had a bit of a slower start than expected, and it's been well documented. I'm interested that Button was on the air criticizing the defense because I've come to understand that you guys always protect Darnell Nurse.
Don't even get me started on that, man. No, not today, Greg. Not today.
Yeah, I saw that criticism online last night that the media is very protective of Darnell Nurse and has never criticized him. I'm like, what are you reading? What alternate reality are you living in? Let me say this first about the game last night. Like, there was a lot I watched most of the hockey last night. There's a lot of bad games last night. There's a lot of games that were not very competitive. And so I think the Oilers game was chief among the ones that were actually very competitive and very, very fun. And I'll say this, once in a while we get into these debates about 3-on-3 overtime. And, do we need to change the rules? Is it still exciting? I mean, dude, that 3-on-3 last night was sick. It was absolutely sick. Right down to 6 seconds left. Obviously, wish it could have worked out better for the Oilers. But it's just another example of, like, if you get the right amount of chaos and a few bounces and guys trying to take chances, the 3-on-3 remains like a hockey narcotic in my eyes.
Greg, we were also, the Oilers aren't the only team competing for the cup in the NHL this season. There are a handful of others. We saw Dallas on Saturday. But we did have the question going into yesterday's game, what are the Carolina Hurricanes? And being out west here, of course, Eastern team. We saw a bit of that turnover on that roster during the offseason, but I think we got the answer, as you mentioned last night, from a neutral point of view. That was a hell of a hockey game. Craig Button was on earlier today saying, he doesn't have them in that top cup echelon, but a playoff team. Would you kind of settle in there as well? Because I was very impressed. The Oilers got a point out of it. You make them argue they're up 2-0, but pretty good hockey team there in Carolina still.
Yeah, I had them missing the playoffs by a fraction this year. I think that the law of diminishing returns on that roster could come home to roost at some point. Like the Rod Brindamore system is very sturdy. And there is a certain amount of plug and play that you can do. But when you go from Brady Shea and Brett Pesce to Gostisbehere and Walker, that's a bit of a downgrade, even though Gostisbehere played pretty well offensively. I think the forward group has also downgraded without Teravainen there. I don't know. I think that there was a chance for this to be a step back season. I still think it could be, especially with the amount of concern that you have to have about the health of their goaltending long term this year. But again, that was me making a prediction, knowing that Brindamore's system is so time tested in the regular season that they'd probably be okay.
Greg Wyshynski with us on the show this morning. There are 4 teams in the league that have not lost in regulation just yet. You've got Calgary and Winnipeg, and then the Rangers, who look really good, and the Minnesota Wild, sneaky 4-0-2 start here. What's the biggest story of that group now?
Let's talk about those dumbasses in Calgary. I know this is all very exciting, and I know a great start's a great start, and I know that Craig Conroy has said this is a retool, not a rebuild. You guys are morons. There's one path to contention in this league, and it's tanking. And if you idiots are going to be nibbling around the bubble in a season where they've clearly led up to the point where they're going to tank. They've, not only obviously the huge losses they had a few years ago when Gaudreau and Tkachuk left, but then also, Lindstrom and all these other guys that have Lindholm rather, all these other guys that have not been on the team anymore. And Markstrom included, it's clearly led up to this point where they're supposed to be terrible this season. And now they're off to a great start. They're feeling good about themselves. So again, if they're delusional to think that a retool is going to make them a contender, then maybe this is exactly what they want to happen. But if this team's nibbling around the bubble come March, what a disastrous season for a team that needs to be as bad as possible to get back to being good.
Amen. Look at that take.
Morons, idiots.
So Winnipeg last year, Winnipeg was a great regular season team last year. Didn't happen in the playoffs. They've started, they look really good this year. I don't think it would be surprising if they're the top team in the West. That's what they look like right now.
The thing about them right now is obviously they're getting great goaltending, not only from Hellebuck, from Eric Comrie too. I had somebody tell me before the season, watch for Comrie because he's back in a comfort zone. Buffalo was not comfortable for him at all based on what was in front of him and just the whole situation. So I think that they were pretty happy with the preseason for him and felt really comfortable with him being Hellebuck's backup. But the story of that team right now is the offense. They're cruising. I think last check they were tied for first or second in the league in goals per game. If they're going to be churning like that offensively and then have the best goalie in the world behind them, they're going to be real good. I thought they might tick down a little bit Not only because 110 points was a lot last season, but because I thought that maybe Rick Bowness had a little bit more to do with it than maybe he did. I mean, they moved over Arneal, who was the associate coach last year, to be the head coach, and they look better than they did last year. So it's been pretty impressive to watch.
Hey, all 32 teams yesterday in action. Does that happen again this year? Like, do we get a couple of throws one more time? Is it one more time?
No. Just that's it. This is the only time this season, I think.
Do you have an appetite for this to happen like 2 or 3 times a season?
It'd be great, but I think the thing that I need more of is it to feel more like a communal hockey moment. Like, I'm watching our coverage last night, and it's great. Like, Butch Gross and Weeks are in the studio holding it down for hours on end and doing a really good job. But you guys might remember this reference. So remember when Monday Nitro was huge in the 1990s?
Yes.
And like they would throw to like watch parties and stuff during Nitro to show you it's a party across the country.
WWF
watching
New York. Remember?
That's
bar there.
Yeah, exactly. So what I want more of is like for when we do a Frozen Frenzy, and maybe this necessitates it being on a weekend or something, but I want it to feel more like the hockey world is coming together to consume all 32 teams, have watch parties at a sports bar, make it feel like a bigger deal than simply just you can sit at home and flip through the games. Like I that's the part of it that's missing for me is the celebration of hockey part, if I'm being honest.
You're being celebrated in our YouTube nasty chat for all that Flames rant. That went over real well.
And this is going to break your heart, but I didn't start watching wrestling till the Attitude Era, so I didn't really learn about the Monday Night Wars until I watched the McMahon documentary, and I was like, wow, this is fascinating. I'm telling Eric, did you know about the Monday Night Wars? This is crazy.
What a time to be alive! What a time to be alive! But yeah, no, I mean that's the thing though. Is like I'm not saying we got to gimmick this thing up too much, but the idea of it feeling more like, to be honest with you, like that notion that I'm talking about is what I always wanted the first day of the playoffs to be. Like I always wanted the first day of the playoffs to feel like the first day of March Madness, where you sit down at noon and you're watching hockey until 1 a.m. and you're betting on all the games and you're with your buddies in a bar, you're writing a sick note to your boss, you're going off and watching hockey all day. Like, that is the dream for me on the first day of the playoffs. The playoffs are clearly more important than the regular season. They're clearly the more marketable thing for the NHL more than anything else. So if we could ever get to a point where the first day of the playoffs could feel like a day you just like play hooky and watch hockey all day, I think would be like the coolest thing. And the Frozen Frenzy is maybe the closest thing we can get to that, but that's the dream right there.
Wyshynski, as always, buddy, thank you for joining us, and get well. Get well soon. We want you to get well, all right?
Anytime. Thanks, boys.
There you go. That's Greg Wyshynski playing hurt today. Didn't look hurt.
He looked great.
It was like Marshall faking yesterday.
Well, great makeup team there.
Yeah, right. He has his whole makeup crew because he works for ESPN.
20 of them. Sobe Kirk, though, I think interestingly enough, too, I didn't even know it was called Frozen Frenzy, LOL.
I didn't realize that
goes to kind of
Greg's
point. There wasn't really much of a buzz, I guess, communally about it.
Big Slam Nasty says, guys, Wyshynski just climbed the power rankings with that WCW shutout.
Yeah, Rip City Steps still not forgiving for the Schweppes love, though. That's this is the Monday. It's the ginger ale wars, really. Like there can only be one brand, right?
After seeing the reaction to this Monday Night Wars here today, and then watching the McMahon documentary, I am kind of sad that I wasn't into it during the Monday Night Wars.
What I want to do is get them all again. And every Monday, sit down and watch it in chronological order and relive the entire 3-year or whatever.
Yeah, because they were going on WCW and telling you exactly what was going to happen on
wild stuff.
And
the internet's in the background, so you're kind of hanging on everything.
How old were you, Maddie, during because this would have been we're talking. Yeah, so this is mid 90s. Well, late 90s, I was watching the late 90s. I don't remember WCW being a thing, when The Rock and the Attitude Era. They conquered it.
That was NWO Wolfpack time and stuff.
That's how they ended it, though, right? That's basically what happened. The Attitude Era basically killed the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah. Attitude was.
It all ended on Survivor Series. It was WCW versus WWE.
Oh my God.
Turn on WWE and Kurt Angle was the hero. He saved.
But that was way in the. That's after they acquired them and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that's when they bought them. But still, so fun.
You couldn't wait for the weekend to be over. Because Monday night was so riveting.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you flip back and forth?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I never watched any WCW
Wild
at
stuff.
all. Never watched it.
Revenge? WCW NWO Revenge. Best wrestling game ever. Yeah.
Really?
WCW and NWO Revenge. Best wrestling game.
Well,
ever.
that's good. There's some good wrestling games out there, but that's the best one ever, eh?
Best one ever. Larry Zbyszko, for crying out loud.
I don't even know what that means.
You don't need to.
All right, if you're watching over on YouTube today, we are definitely within striking distance here of changing 300. We're 29 away. James B says, hey, I just watched that rant by Dusty. Gosh darn, son, run for mayor. The takes on Skinner were so bad, I had to get offline because I was losing my mind. Yeah, I popped in to watch Tommy and the boys on the postgame show last night, and the first few things I saw, I'm not even getting into it again. I'm not even wasting my time on
you
this
fixed
again.
the LRT in a sense, right?
It's
Like you kind of
just, I mean,
do it. Do it.
No,
Tommy says do it.
I used up all of my energy at 6:20 this morning. I can't go back there. But yeah, if you want to see that rant, you can roll on back.
Oh, it might be popping up at next year's Estes. We're crying out loud, right? Well, I'm just saying, people are talking.
I mean,
word of the mouth.
This has been a good year for rants already, though. There's going to be, I think there'll be a rant where I think something gets broken in the studio that probably end up winning Esty. Like this TV's, I'm going to pick it up and smash it over my knee. All right, so let's get to Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power.
Yeah, I can.
Very curious where you're going to go on this one.
Well,
today,
it is spooky season, so and with a draft on the horizon Monday, right?
Monday.
What are we calling this? The Halloween draft?
The scary things
draft. Okay, well, I'm going to rank right now in no particular order, really, the top 10 scary moments in sport. And you can play along as always, 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox, or in the nasty chat. Listeners always have better suggestions than me. And again, this isn't scary as in, ooh, Taylor Hall. Yeah. It's more so almost like disgusting or tragedy, really. Like this can get a little dark. This might get a little dark.
That's not where I was thinking we were going for the sports scary things, but
I know, yeah.
Anyway, the draft's on Monday from 9 to 11, the draft of scary things.
We'll see how many of these get selected here. The Malice at the Palace. Anytime, basketball players enter into the arena of the fan, Pistons, Pacers, Jermaine O'Neal cold-cocking a fan. We're on our test completely unhinged at the Palace at Opera and Hills between the Detroit Pistons, Indiana Pacers.
Great documentary about it.
Oh, and I mean, an incident, but if you were there sitting like second row or whatever, I mean,
if you didn't want any part of it,
scary.
All right, number 9.
World Series Game 3 Bay Area earthquake. Giants Athletics, Candlestick Park melting literally on the broadcast, like falling apart. 42 people tragically lost their life. The A's would sweep the World Series.
That was happening during the Menendez thing.
It was all going on.
Earthquakes
it was all going on. Yeah.
Number 8.
Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield, the Fan Man. No more comedic tragedy, I guess. Not even really tragedy. Middle of the fight, 1993, Caesar's Palace. But I mean, you're thinking about it. You're there. This giant fan blades, and I know it was kind of covered. But I mean, that's kind of, you don't know what's going to happen at this point.
You don't know that situation. All right, number 7.
Anything Evel Knievel ever did. I think you're watching a stuntman, it can be quite scary. And if you're there specifically watching in person, I would assume that it's quite a fright.
You think stuntmen have no other options in life, and they're like, I guess I'll just have to put my life at risk for a living?
Vince McMahon financed a few of his stunts. Believe it. Of course, in the background.
Of course,
the money maker.
Number 6.
1955 Le Mans disaster. 24 hours of Le Mans killed driver Pierre Levey and approximately 80 spectators, with over 100 being injured in total. Did you ever watch Ford versus Ferrari, that movie there with the...
How many spectators? You said spectators killed?
80, with over 100 being injured. This 24-hour race was something they'd stop, they'd get out of the car, eat a sandwich.
How did 80 people die at a car race?
I haven't seen the video.
Are you sure that's true?
1955.
A car crash and killed 80 people?
1955.
I'm going to have to look this up later.
Like, it obviously went off the track type of...
But 80 people? Yeah. Wow. All right, number 5.
Snapped like a stick of bread. Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor compound fracturing Joe Theismann's leg. You talk to people. I wasn't around then, but like watching it live type of thing. But a gruesome injury nonetheless. Number 5.
Number 4.
April 1993. Monica Seles getting stabbed in the back on the court by a deranged Steffi Graf fan. And I think most people remember out of that incident the shriek that Monica Seles let out.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Number 3.
1989. Clint Malarchuk, Sabres Blues, corroded arteries severed by a skate blade. We don't need to spend too much time on that.
Turn away. Remember, that was the call, I think.
However, might feature into the draft, correct? I mean, we're talking. There is a category for scary and gruesome.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not going gruesome. I'm thinking like intimidating situations in sport.
Because Halloween movies
scary.
too can be quite gory. I guess. So how does this all fact? Do you go on that theme? Do you
that's
go on
up to you.
Exactly.
Number 2.
The Blue Blazer Owen Hart perishing. From falling from a harnessing system. And again, watching what you've been watching. I think the scariest thing, though, was the show going on.
Yeah.
The most disturbing part of that whole thing.
And that thing should
people
have been,
having to
that
perform.
thing should have been canceled.
The Jeff
man.
Jarrett, Deborah McMichael's promo. I mean, they get tears in their eyes.
That was
Kansas
bad.
City, 1999.
All right, number one.
Number one in the top 10 scary moments in sport, getting paired on a blue line with Darnell Nurse.
Don't you keep protecting this guy?
I know.
Unbelievable.
Example
Wow.
1A right there, hey? We're not doing no protection
You know
here.
what? I did not see that one coming
That's
today.
for you.
I did not see that one coming. Man, I got to get back to that 1955 crash. That's wild.
I don't know the video on that, but
Well, I don't know if I want to see the
watch
video,
Ford
but I
versus
definitely wanna
Ferrari.
hear.
It's very interesting, that Le Mans stuff.
I love that movie. I've watched it a bunch of times.
Good, yeah.
Great movie. If
I never
you've
knew
not
they
watched-
tagged out drivers.
Yeah,
Like, hey, you
Ford
got a break,
versus Ferrari
have
is
a tea.
terrific. I mean, I guess if you're driving for that long,
No, it makes sense. But
it's the only way to really do it.
yeah.
All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, William Huff, Bruce and the team, they'll get you taken care of. We're just sitting in a regular sort of office/boardroom right now, but you never know it.
Oh, he's done it up nice.
Right.
This used to be a medical diagnostic, or whatever
Listen,
it was.
when we
you never
first
know.
got here, there was the boardroom table was in here, and it was a mess.
Yeah.
Now look at it. All because of Bruce and the team at William Huff. They've been doing it since 1952. www.williamhuff.com. What did we learn today, boys?
Well, it was a very educational show, I think, and the one that sticks out to me is YouTube Trev getting constantly screwed now by his Rex sports team. And as I've suggested, I would hold a press conference later today and almost request a trade.
I was going to say it
This
might be
is your
time to
final
request a
season.
trade.
I don't know when the deadline is, but you don't have a lot of time left in the hourglass. Go somewhere where people want you.
You have championship pedigree.
Yeah,
you're telling me
we're
another
going for the three-peat.
Yes,
Wasted.
Exactly. You're going for a three-peat, but you're falling apart right now.
They're falling apart.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. Like, I was floored. My jaw dropped, and I was like saying like sub every time they came back and they got a basket. I was like, are we subbing? Does anyone want to come in or come out? So yeah, that's a lot of people learned that. I learned that Dusty tried his first ever olive.
I did try a black olive.
Isn't
today.
that a moment, hey? Gutsiest performance?
Where were you?
The good news is that I don't need to have another one.
Yeah, and not even a full one, just a slice. That's all you needed.
Every time I try these different vegetables, it makes me be more confused by my wife because like she'll go and get just like veggie subs, no meat on there really sometimes, just veggies. It just blows my mind.
It was a hot pizza today, hey? The hot pie, the hot meat.
Oh man, that was real good
It's
pizza
spicy.
again.
Yeah.
I'm in an Italian center. They don't miss. They don't miss. Sound of the day today. We don't have time to run back my entire 6-minute rant from the 6 o'clock hour.
Well, let's do it live.
You'll have to scroll. I'm not getting.
Share
I'm not,
your thoughts, please.
Look, I'll just say this one more time. Don't be an idiot. And this is not a wave reference.
No.
I mean, if you want to do the wave, do the wave.
But there's a Venn diagram
I know
here
that
that I
it
think
jinxes the team sometimes. Sorry, it does. But I don't know how, as an educated fan base, people can watch that game last night and hang it on Stuart Skinner, and then you wonder why he can't have nice things. Like he was awesome last night.
Mm-hmm.
It was by far not even close his best game of the year, and you're still freaking out about him last night? Did you watch the game? Tell me where he was the issue last night. Some people, man. Me to people who are criticizing Stuart Skinner last night.
Get away from me, you horse's ass!
Yeah.
As a market, fans, media, whoever, we're better than that. We should be.
Should be.
Because if not, we deserve to be mocked as we are by many other cities. Because that's just an all-time bad take. Look, he hasn't stood on his head this year, but he's playing behind a team that's scoring 2 goals per game. And last night, he was the only reason, both goaltenders. I mean, either team could have won that game 7-2 if one of those 2 goalies didn't have the night that they had. Anderson, Skinner, amazing last night. And when I heard the Texans in the postgame show being like, people were chanting on the train, Skinner sucks. I just thought, I mean, why would you go to a hockey game and sit there with your eyes closed the entire time?
Paying full dollar.
Makes
and
no
the team
sense to
in
me.
front of you isn't
Makes no sense
showing
to
up
me.
yet.
All right, text of the day today. Let's go here for text of the day. Kind of by default, Macramalla thought it's one of the best ever. Tube Socks, congratulations. Text of the day for A&W. 2 mama burgers right now, 2 juicy, delicious mamas for $9.99. EST legal analyst and guy who fake sleeps in the car on the ride home so the Uber driver has to carry him up to his bed. Eric Macramalla.
Good night, sweet prince.
Like a little child. Like a little child.
And again, you do the eye wincing, like forcing them shut, right? Like he's not should he be sleeping.
Do you think Tube Socks started taking Ubers just to make Uber jokes?
You got to know the material, right? Like you got to know that you live it and you.
We were with him the night he took his first ever Uber.
Yeah.
And now he's making Uber jokes?
He was down Calgary last night walking around the streets.
What?
With his EST hoodie. Looking the part, right?
Enemy territory. Who do you think you are? Greg Wyshynski, who called the Flames a bunch of idiots today?
That was a good.
Good
idiots
rant,
and
too.
morons.
Oh, idiots and morons. Both.
He unloaded a clip.
Now hitting for the cycle. All right, we got the hangout coming up next.
What are we watching tonight? Marshall and Poole.
I'll be watching Marshall in the pool tonight and yelling at all the other parents. Your kids are slow. My kid's fast. Get out of the way. The Barracuda is here.
The Barracuda's in the drink.
I'm gonna text you tonight the moment he gets in the pool. The Barracuda is in the drink. All right. Trev, hang in there, buddy. Farewell season.
Request a
When
trade,
does this
damn it.
season end, Trev?
That's a good question.
Is it like it's before
I
Christmas, right?
believe the end of November.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
You've got just over a month left on the farewell campaign.
Yeah.
You got to turn this around right away, buddy.
Well, if I get some time on the ice or time on the court, I can. And I will.
You need the time. That's it.
I just need to get on there. Get out
this
there.
guy some playing
Give him a
time.
chance.
Unbelievable.
Oh, holy smokes. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Hangout's coming up next. Another chance to qualify for the EST Flyaway to LA. For YouTube Trev and Lieutenant Eric, I'm Dustin Nielsen. Join us today. I'm heading down to the Boston Pizza, Kingsway. Tommy Gozzola's coming with. YouTube Trev's going to pop by. Kingsway Boston Pizza. I'll be there for the lock shop, and we will be there live for the oil stream today. So if you're looking for a bite to eat for lunch, you want to say hi, you want to come by, hang out, meet us at the Kingsway Boston Pizza. We will get into that today from 11 until 1. Hangout's on the way next.